Welcome back, Hawkeye fans. Well, it was not the best outcome in Columbus this past weekend. We are going to be recapping that whole game. And I tell you what, if you only come here for the interviews, this is definitely the one you do not want to miss. We are chatting with Jennings Dunker today, and it is absolutely phenomenal. We've also got the Hawkeyes coming back home to Kinnick Stadium this coming weekend, taking on Washignton. So we are going to preview that game as well. Thanks for coming back. This is Talkin Hawks presented by Hills Bank.
No matter where you are in life, Hills Bank is here to help you succeed.
Whether you're buying your first house, saving for your child's future, or preparing for retirement, you can count on the people at Hills Bank for the support you need to reach your goals.
It's easy to connect with a banker in person, over the phone, or on hillsbank.com.
Because we believe banking is better through human connection.
Hills Bank is an equal housing lender and FDIC member.
Hey, Matt.
Hey.
Welcome back. How you doing?
God is good. Another day.
Another day. Well, Matt, this past weekend it wasn't my favorite game to watch.
That's fair. Although there were a lot of other interesting games across all of college football.
Like what?
Like Minnesota beat USC, Washington beat Minnesota, Alabama goes down. There are a lot of big time schools that lost.
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't really watch any other games anymore.
Yeah.
I know. It's hard for me to even watch the Iowa games when they're away. You know?
Because we have kids at home.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I start to watch the game and then all of a sudden it's like, Mom, can I have a fork? Go ahead and go get one. Yeah, but can you get me the one that's in the dishwasher that needs to be washed that has stuff all over it? Because I want the one that has the thing. Like,
it's got the green on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's got the.
So then I'm always doing like that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, what happened? Shoot, I missed it.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true.
Yeah. This weekend was, you also had some football players over to our house. That was fun.
Yeah. I had the varsity receivers from Solon come over and hang out.
Mm-hmm.
Had a little pickleball tournament.
Yeah, me and the kids left.
Yeah.
15 high school age boys and then 2 small children. Just don't quite mix, you know what I'm saying?
It's so funny though, how
15-year-old boys are also like small children.
17. They're juniors and seniors.
17-year-olds.
Yeah, 17 and 18 they're just big kids. They're like, but it's also cool to like see them in a group setting because they make up their own rules. If they get bored, like they're not just going to sit there and watch the game.
Right.
And they'll watch a little bit. But then they're like, all right, we're going to play monkey in the middle. We're going to have 3 on the outside, 2 on the inside. And the rule is this is how we're going to rotate. And then it's like, it's so structured, but it's on the fly. Yeah. And then all of a sudden everybody's into it. They're like, you can't do that.
Yeah, like everybody knows the rules.
But it's awesome, like seeing that kind of stuff. And I'm hoping that camaraderie continues to build. You know, I mean, that's part of like sports in general.
Yeah.
Building camaraderie with other people. But like seeing that, the pickleball tournament, which we didn't really finish, but either way, we played a little pickleball. It was good.
That's fun. And then I went to my parents with the kids to watch the game. So that's an adventure too.
I was going to say that's a trip. Yeah.
So much sugar was given to the children.
Yeah.
And you were the grandparents. Oh, it's all good. Okay. So.
And I sold your in-laws house. That was nice. It closed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
If we cut out all the other like random banter that we just did, at least have this in there that Matt made one of the biggest sales of his life, not because it was the highest ticketed price.
No.
But because it was my parents' house that they lived in for 37 years. And then he was tasked with selling it.
Yeah, they built it in 1987. Crazy.
I know. And then Matt got to sell it, which obviously when you're selling a house, I feel like there's a little bit of pressure of like, okay, sell the thing. We need to move or we need to whatever.
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit of pressure. But when it's your mother-in-law that's like, hey, has it sold yet? It's just a little bit more. The amount of times that you've said, out of nowhere, I'm just so glad that house sold.
Yeah, it's been quite a few. And it only closed on Friday. I haven't had many days to recount it, but
it's official. Great job.
Thanks.
And my parents still really like you. So
that's the big thing, is that we're still on the good side of things.
Right. Well, good job. See, there's some positives. All right, let's talk about Saturday though.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the offense? Do you want to start with the defense? What do you want to do?
We can kind of start with the offense.
Okay.
Cade was actually really efficient early.
Can we just talk about that for a second? Everybody's calling for Cade to be taken out as a starter.
Who's everybody?
Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Everybody's so upset. So obviously people are they're mad about the offense. Unsettled about the offense. We'll just say that. Then I'm seeing this thing about the laces, that he doesn't always throw with the laces.
Yeah.
And he addressed it. Like a reporter asked him about it at a media day. And then there was another photo of him just from Saturday's game in Columbus. And he wasn't throwing with the laces. And people are like, what the heck? He's not throwing with the laces. And he said, sometimes I get the snap and I need to get the ball out and I don't have time to grab the laces. So sometimes I just don't throw with the laces. That makes perfect sense to me. Why is everybody so like excited about that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Like, I don't care. Like,
I'm just curious.
I throw a bunch of balls at practice, obviously with receivers and stuff. And like,
I'm sorry. Can you tell me last night what you said when I posed this question to you? What did you say about yourself?
what did I say?
What did you say?
What did I say?
I can't remember what you said. But
No,
it was ridiculous. I think you said that you could be like a quarterback or something. Like
I got the arm talent of a QB.
Which to that I said,
I'm all
Really?
all arm talent. You know, like there are some guys that have to like load up on their back foot and throw.
Yeah.
I can be on my knees and throw at 55. That's not a lie either. Ask any of the receivers at Solon because I've had to show them that I've got arm talent.
Okay. It's just, you never talk about yourself and you whipped that out like one line, like, yeah, I've got quarterback talent. I was like, excuse me.
No, I'm not saying I can read a field. Like I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you just need somebody to just throw it really high and far and doesn't have to read coverages.
Well, then how come when you guys had the trick play back in 2015,
they didn't
Minnesota
let me throw
game,
it. I'm still salty.
They had
I'm
Tavon
still salty.
throw it.
They had Tavon throw it.
Uh-huh.
Well, to be fair, no matter what, Tavon was going to throw it. Like
Okay.
he wasn't going to run. They're like, if Meerkat is covered, do not throw it. Tavon's like, I would throw that anyway. I knew you were going to go make the play. Like that's the receiver stuff. But I don't know why they didn't let me throw it.
Because you don't
Could have
have
launched it.
quarterback arm talent. It's fine.
That's not true.
Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
Anyway, all that to say, like I can throw as good of a spiral, and sometimes I prefer not to have the laces when I'm throwing it.
Okay.
Like there might be something to it. Now, you think about some QBs, like CJ. I remember before, so it'd be the Friday. So we had like fast Friday. So Friday we'd have really hard practice. And by hard, I mean it's full speed for like 30 minutes and then you're out. Maybe a little bit more with like the warm up and stuff like that. But usually the offensive period was like 30 minutes. So then afterwards, CJ, we'd play catch on the side and he'd determine what balls were going to the game and what balls weren't going to go.
That's so interesting.
So he would just throw them and then I'd catch him and throw him back. And then he'd throw it and be like, that's a bad one. That's a bad one. That's a bad one. And then he'd throw it and then he'd be like, that's a bad one, but give it back. And then he'd flip it and go, okay, that's a maybe because only one side's good.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, yeah, there's just half that ball is good. Like if I get it, I'm going to spin it so I have this side of the ball. And I was like, all right, like you do you. I don't know what that means. But then he'd like throw a ball, be like, okay, that's a good one. Doesn't matter. Either side. That's a definite.
That
like
is
we would go
so,
through all the game balls to find it.
That's so weird.
Yeah. I remember him like spinning it and like, yeah.
That's talent to know which one is good and which one isn't.
Either
and
that
like
or
what
extremely
side.
picky.
I
You can
don't
look
know.
at it either side.
That's cool. Okay, so we've
So all I
covered
have to
that.
say, I wouldn't put too much stock in laces or no laces. I
Okay.
think it's better to be able to throw without the laces because if we are throwing like quick RPOs or you're going to throw a quick bubble off the center or something like that, like under center, it's good to be able to throw without it.
Okay.
Although the center typically is going to hold the ball in such a way if you're under center. So he should, if it's a right-handed center, have the laces on the left side because as he snaps it, the quarterback
goes.
should get his laces along top of his fingers because you don't snap it directly back. You turn it sideways. So that way it's in the quarterback's pocket of his hands. And then he can just have the laces right there.
Interesting. Wow. I'm learning so much just from asking that one question.
Yeah, because they don't go straight back. That'd be kind of weird.
I totally thought they did this whole time.
No, they rotate it.
Wow. Thank you so much for that.
Yep.
I might
Only
be
when
the
you're
only
under
person that like didn't know that they rotated.
Yeah, only
that
when
makes
you're under
sense.
center. Obviously, shotgun snap is you just snap it. But
Yeah.
under center, yeah, rotate the hand. Make
Funny.
it so that the QB can have his fingers on the laces.
Got it. Okay, thank you. All right, so we've covered that. Doesn't matter. Next, can you just explain to me why is everybody up in arms? Why should they or shouldn't they be?
I mean, he was incredibly efficient to start the game. I mean, he was 11 to 12, I think, to start. Like, I don't know what else we're necessarily asking of him. Now, I also know that our receivers didn't do a great job of getting off their press. Now, our game plan was similar to that of Michigan State, and I talked about this in the preview of Ohio State, and in the way that we played against Minnesota, where we tried to come in to loosen up their coverage a little bit, manipulate their coverage so that they would go quarters and bring the safeties down, and then we were able to block them and whatever. The difference is Ohio State didn't really change too much. We were trying to manipulate their coverage, but didn't as much. And so with that, their corners just kind of stayed tight, and then they played man-to-man a lot. And I can tell from experience that I didn't always do the best on getting off press coverage. And especially if you're brand new, so Reese Vanderzee played receiver his junior year of high school, played quarterback his last year in high school, and then is now back to receiver. Obviously, he shows a lot of really good things, but that press coverage was really tough for him. I mean, there were times where he was getting widened and stuff like that. And he's a big body, and he'll learn how to, get lower with his weight and make sure his arms are ready for a street fight. And he's going to get better with those technical things as time goes on. But in this particular one, he was getting widened a lot. And so that kind of throws off your timing too. And if you're Cade and you're looking there, it's like, well, I can't go there. So now I got to go to my second and third read when maybe I wasn't ready, or maybe that is your second read and your first read was locked down. So you can go to your second. It just takes time to get better at getting off of press coverage.
Well, with Reese, we were just watching this before we started. That should have been a pass interference call. Really bad. When, like you said, he got widened to the...
widened to the sideline.
To the sideline, thank you. But literally got thrown down by the DB. But they couldn't call it. And then it ended up being an interception. But they couldn't call it because the pass got tipped. That is such a weird rule. So
it's pass interference if the ball is not tipped because you're impeding their ability to catch the ball. You have a right to your spot, but if you're doing something that directly impedes the receiver's ability to come back and catch it, then they call for pass interference.
Okay, but my opinion is should be, nope, I'm doing this. My thing is it should be, if the ball was catchable, then you can still make the call. Because that ball was still catchable.
So once the ball is tipped, it becomes a straight up street fight. You can do whatever you want. You can rip people down. You can take people out. You can do whatever once the ball's tipped.
That's dumb, because he was already manhandling him before the ball was even
So
thrown.
There's not really a holding call. You're not going to get it very often unless you know how to work with your weight and work with your leverage to get that call. He's getting widened off the snap. He needed to set him up a little bit more and drive. And he's trying, you can tell he's trying. He just hasn't quite had enough reps at it yet to get there and then snap at the top. Because once you snap out at the top, then the DB inevitably is going to show that they've got your shoulder pads, and it makes the call a lot easier.
Gotcha.
But when you're getting that kind of press, it sounds counterintuitive, but you have to lean into the pressure.
Okay.
So meet pressure with pressure is really how it is. They're going to try and pressure you. You need to pressure them. So mainly because when you're going to snap out of it. They don't know what your route is. They might do their game plan. They might expect you to run a hook. They might expect you to run an out. They might expect when your break is, but ultimately the receiver and the quarterback are really the only two that know when you're going to cut. So if I lean into that pressure with pressure instead of trying to avoid it, which is most often what happens when we get wide into the sideline, because we're trying to avoid pressure, but they're just still applying pressure. So then we run out of our normal alignment or where we should be.
Okay.
So if we meet pressure with pressure and we're fighting it, and then I snap out at the top because I'm able to whip my head around, well, now he wasn't ready for it. And now he's got pressure. And now I go to jolt away. It's going to be inevitable that his hand is going to be on my shoulder pads. It's going to be grabbing jersey. It's going to be whatever. And at that point, they can call it. But if I'm just letting him widen me, there's no real stick and snap. It's a lot harder to get that call. And obviously combine that with the tip ball. That's a separate thing. But if we just wanted to get a holding call, you have to lean into them and create pressure, meet pressure with pressure, snap out of it, get that call. That's something that you get with reps. And the more you do it and go up against it all the time. But Ohio State DBs, they're known for being first round draft picks. They've got other guys in the league that have continued to play at a high level. I played against Denzel Ward, who was a first round pick for the Browns. He was hard to get open on. Those guys are just really good at what they do, but you need reps at it, get better at it. And I'm sure that Reese will learn a lot from watching the tape. Okay. And I'm not just singling him out by any means, but those are just two plays that,
I brought up that particular one. Okay. Continue. Now you can move on with the rest of
so Cade was efficient, a lot of dump offs, but there were a lot of bootlegs that were utilizing well that he's done previous. There's a lot of really good things that he's doing. The one thing that kind of caught my eye is like when he did and didn't step up into the pocket. There were some times where he stepped into the pocket where I was like, well, you still have a little bit more time. But really, I mean, their front four were really good. Ohio State's, that is. In the run game and the pass game, we really weren't efficient running the ball. I think Caleb had like 46 yards a half, something like that. Like they were really adamant about stopping him, which is exactly what you need to stop, right? Like he's second in rushing at the time. The kid from Boise State's going crazy. He's already got over 1,000 yards. But Caleb Johnson can be that kind of game breaker, but their front four were just really good about being where they needed to be to stop that. PA game, boot game was still good, but there were times where, Cade's foot was slipping or something. He got smacked a lot, especially early on in that game.
There was one very early in the game that I thought
he like slipped and turned back and he threw the sidearm, right? I think it was to Lachey, and like he got hammered. I don't know how you don't call not necessarily targeting, but they've got a call that I think it's like weight on the quarterback. You're supposed to try and roll off so your full weight doesn't crush him. Mm-hmm. And there was one angle that I was like, he definitely crushed him. But the other angle is like maybe half his body was off.
It was like they came in with like a thought like, oh yeah, we're going to get this guy.
Well, to be fair, Cade was the guy who beat him at Michigan, right?
And that's what I mean. I think they kind of like
they definitely got
just to be
him.
a little bit biased.
Well, and they, like I said, I mean, they hit him early and often, and that gets in a quarterback's head, not in terms of like, I'm going to change what I do, but like, okay, maybe my clock is being a little bit quicker, and there are things that we can do in the future of like different chips and stuff like that to try and help out. But that was kind of the main thing there. And that's essentially what it was. I mean, that's why we had a tough time. Now we did move the ball a couple times, missed a field goal, right there towards the end of the half. So, I mean, we had opportunities to score. Mm-hmm. We just didn't quite finish.
Gotcha. All right. Defense.
Well, I'll address one other thing. You talked about Cade, people calling for his job. Oh, yeah. As far as I know, it's Cade's team. Everybody has a rough outing. I talked about the receivers obviously need to continue to get better. Offensive line had a rough day, just because whatever they were doing scheme-wise was just kind of messing with our guys up front. So hopefully they're able to settle in, get back to doing what they were doing, because even when they pulled him, I think he was 14 of 20. Like, that's not a terrible stat line. Obviously, we want more than 98 yards, and we don't want the interception, right? Mm-hmm. But there's still the efficiency is there. It's just, can we push the efficiency down the field? That's what we're struggling with right now, is the real deep ball. And we hit Jacob Gill on a deep in, moving right to left in the first quarter. And when I say that on TV, it was right to left. In the first quarter, we hit a deep in. Like, we've got that kind of stuff in our repertoire. We just have to pull it out and be more efficient at that stuff, not just the PA boot quick out game.
Gotcha. All right. How about defense?
Defense, pretty solid there. First half was 7-0. We forced 2 turnovers. But what you never really want to see is, so Jay Higgins had 14 tackles, right? We kind of expect he's going to be all over there. The next 4 leading tacklers were DBs. Mm-hmm. Quinn, Deshaun, I believe Jamari, it might have been Sebastian, probably Castro, and then Quinn Schulte. Like, the next 4. That means that their running backs are getting to the second level. That also means they're throwing a lot, but usually it means their running backs are getting to the second and third level, which makes it a lot harder to win ball games when your DBs are having to make that many open field tackles, or just that many tackles in general. So Jay having 14 is good, but then obviously, like, you expect Nick Jackson to kind of be there. You expect Kyler Fisher to be there, but to have 4 DBs just tells us that we weren't quite as efficient in the front 6 like we normally are, which is unfortunate. But they got some top tier wide receivers. Like, they got some dudes. That Jeremiah Smith, he's a real deal. The one-handed catch on Deshaun Lee. Like, I don't know how else you guard it. He did everything he could and goes up and makes a play. Like, that's just something you got to live with. The other one, Emeka Egbuka got one, and we had Kyler Fisher on him. It's because we were kind of running like a box concept. So a box concept is 4 over 3 because, again, I've talked about defense wants more guys than offense. And so Kyler Fisher has to take the flat while Deshaun Lee is taking the vertical. And I believe it was Quinn Schulte had to take 2 verticals. So they had 2 go vertical, and they had a wheel by number 3, which is Emeka Egbuka in this case. And by number 3, I mean the most inside receiver. So counting from out to in, it's 1, 2, 3. So 1 ran a vertical at the seam. Deshaun Lee takes him. 2 runs a vertical. kind of to the middle of the field. So Quinn Schulte takes him, which means Kyler Fisher has to take the flat. Well, that was Emeka Egbukwe who comes out, runs the wheel. Kyler Fisher has him, but then he turns up. So now their receiver, who's probably going to be drafted in the top 3 rounds, and we've got a linebacker on him who Kyler Fisher really covered him decently well. Just maybe not quite as good as a Deshaun Lee would be, or Jamari Harris or something like that. But for the position that Kyler Fisher was in, he did well. It's a tough spot to be in when you're asked to guard somebody that's, like, again, top tier. Mm-hmm. So those little things, Kyler Fisher still almost got the ball out. He was close. And then 2 turnovers really helped. I'll get into one of them. But everyone's kind of making the thing on Jay Higgins, how he missed the tackle. Very next play goes back, punches the ball out, and then I think he recovers it too. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it kind of speaks to the heart. Like, that's the thing, is you expect Iowa to just continue playing. And in that first half, we did a really good job. Second half, I think we just ended up getting a little bit run down, unfortunately. But for the most part, I think we played like really, really tough, I guess, against a very good opponent. Obviously, the top 3 in the country.
Yeah. First half, I was like, whoa, hold on. It's still a ball game.
The tough part too.
Tough.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
One other thing that they did is that they were able to lighten the box by going wide, because they have so many receiving threats. But then Travion Henderson and I'm blanking on the other running back's name, Judkins, are both really good running backs too. So they would lighten the box and spread us out, because again, we want 4 over 3 or we want 3 over 2. So then we widen. Then we only have 6 in the box, which means that everybody's getting blocked except for one, and he's one-on-one with the running back, and you hope that he can get a clear lane to the running back, right? And then the quarterback ends up taking in. He scores our first rushing touchdown given up all year, which is kind of crazy now that we're in week 6. But so, like, to account for all that, they did a good job widening the box, giving their running back space to move inside. I think they both had 70 yards, something like that. And then obviously, if you want to put the guys in the box and say, okay, now we're going to go true one-on-one on the outside, they got dudes on the outside. So it's kind of, you got to pick your poison on how you want to defend them. We've got the dudes to do it. They just happen to get us on Saturday.
Gotcha. All right. Anything else you want to say about the game aside from your unsung hero?
Special teams, unfortunate with the missed field goal, right? And the fake punt thing, I think people are talking about that quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's a tough spot, right? I think once you make the call, I think you have to live with the call, whether you decide that you're going to punt there, or whether you decide you're not going to punt there. It's unfortunate to show it and then not be able to do it. Mm-hmm. I think that's always tough. But Coach Farron's been doing this long enough. I mean, obviously he knows. Maybe he saw something he didn't like. It did look like they stacked the box a little bit more than maybe we had anticipated based on that, which is why he wanted to save it instead of giving him the ball at midfield. Which I'm assuming that's the reasoning as to why he called the timeout. He just didn't like their front. But it's just tough in those situations.
Gotcha. All right. Well, who's your unsung hero? Brought to you by JB Roofing.
Unsung hero, brought to you by JB Roofing. I kind of want to say the entire defense. I'm gonna single out Sebastian Castro.
Yeah, because I said if you say the entire defense, that's a sung hero. Everybody's singing that one.
Who's singing?
I'm just saying. Everybody is making up songs on
making up songs on TikTok about the defense. Yeah. Sebastian Castro, I'm going to go with specifically. He had some great open field tackles. And I'm thinking more towards the end of the first half, they ran a swing. I think they ran a swing to the running back or something like that. And Castro comes up. He's a very sure tackler, and just making an open field tackle and then making them come back. I want to say it was a play or two later. They try to run an out route on him and he picks it off, similar to Iowa State, except he scored the one against Iowa State last year. But just that kind of out route, sits underneath it, understands leverage, understands how to get in between the ball and the receiver, picks it off. And that's when we actually start driving a little bit, because we got the ball at the 40 with about a minute to go. So we had an opportunity there to go score because of it, just from him doing his job. And that's a guy that seems like he just shows up every day, does his job, and does it extremely well. Mm-hmm. I think I saw a mock draft. He's first round last mock draft I saw. Dang. I don't know if that's going to hold true. Obviously, it's really early, but that kind of grading and that kind of eyes on you is pretty cool. So Unsung Hero by JB Roofing, Sebastian Castro.
I found it really interesting. I was watching them do those open field tackles, and I'm assuming this is something that's coached. When they come up to the guy, they kind of do this fast feet, foot fire thing right before they tackle him? Is that something that is that like a technique? Something?
It is a technique.
Yeah, I totally noticed it. Why?
Well, so when I get up there, if I've got both my feet flat and then you go some way, I'm going to have to drop my weight, and then I'm going to have to put weight on whatever foot I'm going the opposite of. Mm-hmm. So if I am flat footed, first of all, you can go either way because I don't know. Now, if I'm a defender, if I'm Castro, I'm probably inside to out because I know that I've got the corner that's going to do contain, or I've got the sideline next to me. So I'm going to shade your inside shoulder. So that way, if you try and cut back, I'm there. But if you try and run away, I can chase you down. And then hopefully the corner does his job. But if I keep my feet flat, you can make one move and then come back the other way. Mm-hmm. So let's say you make one move to my right. And so I put all my weight on my left foot and open up. Well, now you can come back the other way because I stopped my feet. And now it's a lot harder for me to be able to change direction. But if I come up and I'm hitting my feet, it really doesn't matter which way you go, left or right, because I can put my foot in the ground and drive because they're already ready to move.
Gotcha.
So it's about just being able to make sure they can't cut back against you, and you can also explode. If I'm flat-footed, typically means my weight's back.
Yeah.
What? Because I'm still going?
Still going. It's just very typical that I ask a question and it could have been answered of oh yeah, because if you're flat-footed, then you can't shift right or left. But if your feet are still going, then you totally would be able to.
I feel like I'm trying to coach up some of the people out there.
No, it's just so long. Sorry.
If you're flat-footed, you can't make the tackle. Cut everything else out. No,
don't actually. It's just funny. I remember my sister used to ask you random questions and you'd start going and she'd be like, okay, this is not what I signed up for. It's so long. It was a good answer. Thank you very much for answering all of my questions today. I think I got all of them. Okay. You're not going to talk anymore. All right. Well, we're going to get to our interview with Jennings Dunker. Again, this is one of the best interviews I think we've done on Talkin Hawks to date. Matt, wouldn't you say so? Oh, no, he's just nodding. He's the worst. We hope you guys love it, and we will be right back. Need a new roof, gutter, or siding in Eastern Iowa? Call JB Roofing and Construction, the local and reliable roofer with over 20 years of experience. They do one roof at a time, unlike others who juggle multiple projects and cut corners. They also serve a 45-mile radius around Kelowna and help you with any insurance claims. Don't wait. Call 319-656-ROOF or visit their website, jbroofingkelowna.com, for a free estimate. JB Roofing and Construction, the small-town roofer you can trust. Matt, did you know that Iowa City Tire does more than just tires?
Well, yeah. I mean, they've been servicing vehicles in the corridor for 40 years.
Right. But did you really know that before someone had to tell you?
No.
Check out how they're doing things in a very different way at Iowa City Tire and Service, where service actually comes first.
The Appliance Barn offers a wide range of high-quality appliances at unbeatable prices.
Whether you're in the market for a new refrigerator, dishwasher, or washing machine, they've got you covered.
They also have a delivery and setup department to ensure your appliances get delivered and installed quickly. To find out more, visit appliancebarn.com.
Okay, Hawkeye fans, we have got a long-awaited interview. You've been asking for this one. Everyone, please welcome Jennings Dunker.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Jennings, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
I have to say something. You are a hard person to get a hold of. You weren't once I got your number from Mason.
Sure.
You don't have any social media.
Right.
What the heck? How come?
I'm just not a big social media guy,
Yeah.
Well, clearly zero social media
Right.
means not a big guy. But.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't really have anything to share, and I don't know if it's for me, I got a lot of,
Fair.
I don't know. Just not a big social media guy.
Just got other things that you need to be doing.
I see the application of it, but I just don't know what I would use it for.
That's fair. Okay. Well, maybe one of these days. What about NIL and stuff like that?
I was just going to say, you're missing out on hair care products,
Yeah.
mustache oil. I'm thinking right now of things that could sponsor you.
That's true.
All you'd have to do is be like Jennings Dunker, and then it's a close-up of your face. He used the product. Boom. Easy. I don't even know how much money they pay.
Yeah.
Priceless.
That'd be pretty sweet. I don't know. I guess
We might have just talked you into it.
potentially. As long as I got enough money for gas in my moped, as long as my moped runs, I think I should be good to go.
That's all you need.
Can always catch my own fish and stuff and eat them. So.
Okay, perfect. Well, we are just super excited that you are here. We've heard so many stories. We've had a lot of the linemen on at this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're our third lineman now.
Mm-hmm. Logan, Mason. And when we brought up your name, Logan was like, oh yeah, Yeah, he'd be a good one. So very curious.
So high expectations is the point she's making.
Hopefully good things, not bad things.
I mean, it's probably a mixture.
We'll see what happens, yeah.
You just never know. What we're learning about the lineman room is that you guys all just kind of like mess with each other all of the time.
Right.
Does that seem pretty accurate?
That's pretty fair. I mean, I like to call Lojo like Boss Baby. Have you guys seen that movie?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen the picture of Boss Baby and I thought it looked like Lojo. So sometimes I call him Boss Baby. Sometimes, we'll just see what happens.
Okay, that's incredible. Well, in the beginning of all of our episodes, we kind of like to start it just like all the way back from when you were a kid.
Sure.
Where'd you grow up?
So I lived in Norwalk, Iowa till I was about 8 or 9. And then my family moved to Lena, Illinois. So I grew up in Lena, Illinois, which is a really small town. It's in the top northwest corner of the state.
Okay.
It's got like 2,500 people in it. So
2,500 people?
Around
so how
there,
many
yeah.
people were in your class, like your high school class?
I want to say it was like 55 or so around there.
Goodness.
Dang. Did you play 11-man? Did you play 9-man?
Yeah, we're the smallest 11-man class. And we pull from a couple schools too. So
I
like
was just gonna
McConnell
say.
and Winslow and Kent. So they all go to our school too.
So it's
Okay,
from
gotcha.
4 towns essentially
Yeah,
to
yeah.
make up your 11-man team.
Yeah.
That's
That's
Pretty
wild.
sweet.
Huh. Okay. Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I got 2 little brothers.
2 little
They're,
brothers.
the middle one is 18 and the youngest is 15.
Okay.
So
Gotcha. So you guys are all pretty close.
yeah, we're
Are
all
you-
about 3 years apart.
Gotcha. So are you close, like in relationship too? Do you guys still kind of?
Yeah,
I
I was just texting my little brother yesterday because I'm going back up tomorrow to see him at practice and stuff. So
Oh, nice.
I think he's pretty excited.
Do they both play football?
Yeah, my middle brother plays up at Upper Iowa, and then my youngest still plays in high school. So
Okay. Nice. Upper Iowa. Remind me where that's at.
it's in Fayette.
Okay.
It's probably about hour 45 north of here, give or take.
Okay.
It's in Upper Iowa.
Well, I know. Could be upper. Anyway. Okay. What was it like growing up with 3 brothers that are that close in age? Were you guys just constantly competing?
It's kind of nice because, I felt bad for my mom because she's the only girl in the house. But it was kind of nice when I was a little bit older and I would go to work on my boss's farm and stuff. I'd bring my little brothers along to come work for me. So it's kind of cheap labor, So, but yeah, it was kind of nice. We'd go to practice together and work out together and all that kind of stuff and eat together. So
Yeah, that makes sense. So then when they would come work with you on the farm, did you give them like a cut of your pay or no?
well, yeah, we all got paid on hourly rate. So
Okay.
like, for example, when hemp was legal to farm, like in Illinois, we'd go work in the hemp field. So you'd have a crew. So I'd bring my middle brother out to go walk the fields with me and stuff. And we'd have a crew of guys. So he'd come with and his buddies would come with. So
Gotcha.
pretty exciting stuff.
So you were basically like a manager in your role, managing all those younger boys.
I guess for that job, I guess I kind of was
Yeah.
a little bit. So,
How would you describe your management style?
I don't know. I guess I'm pretty relaxed, but
Okay.
I guess as long as they're doing stuff right.
Fair. All right.
Well, outside of football and farming, did you do any other sports growing up?
Yeah, I wrestled a little bit and then I did some track too. And then my freshman year, I played some baseball too.
Where were
Really?
you in track? Did you throw or did you have like
We
big
did
man relays?
We did the big man relays.
Yes.
I was kind of dangerous in that.
What? Okay, explain that to me. What's big man relays?
So you have all the throwers and you'll get like a 4x1 team. It's called the 4x-fat. And usually you don't have a baton. Usually you have like a banana or a sausage or something. And
We didn't go that far.
Really?
That's so much better.
It's pretty awesome. So then you'll do the race and then like the one with the banana, you have to eat it at the end. So then whoever finishes the banana wins at the end of the race. Usually whoever's the fastest to eat the banana. It was pretty awesome.
That's
I didn't know
incredible.
there was actually food.
I
That makes
like
it so much better.
It does make it a lot better.
And you get a
Okay.
snack at the end, yeah.
You have
The other
to.
reason you run.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so you said a thrower?
Mhm.
What is that? Like discus?
Mhm.
And
I can't think of the other one.
Shot put.
Shot put.
Mhm.
Nice. All right. Did you win any like state titles, any of that kind of stuff?
I
Did
really
you ever
wasn't
go
that good,
far
no.
with
I just threw my sophomore year because COVID my junior and senior year.
it? Okay.
So
Understood. And you played baseball?
my freshman year, yeah.
how's that?
I actually really liked baseball. It was a
Really?
lot of fun. Yeah.
Were you a catcher?
No, I played first and third base.
First and
Oh,
third
third.
base.
So you got a cannon.
It wasn't very accurate, but it was going somewhere.
It would get there wherever there was.
Somewhere. Might be a ground ball, might be a over their head, but
Yeah. That's awesome. Were you a good hitter?
I was okay. I don't know what my batting average was, but I was okay, I guess, for 1A in baseball.
Pretty decent.
I mean, 1 out of every 3 is a good average.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Somewhere around there. So I was reading actually an article before we came in today. It was like, actually, I think he was in like the New York Times or something like that. Did you even know there was one about you in the New York Times? I figured. Anyway, it was from Media Day. And I honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know what year it was from, but they were kind of just like going through your story and I don't know, just a lot of random things about you. And your high school coach was saying that you were really big your freshman year, but you were a horrible athlete.
That's fair.
And I believe,
That's tough.
I didn't say it. His quote was god awful.
Oh,
That checks.
But he did say that once you got into the weight room, you pretty much never left.
Sure.
So how did you make that transition from freshman year, quote unquote, terrible athlete to playing D1 Big Ten football? How does that happen?
So like my freshman year, so when I was in 8th grade, I wore like size 15 shoes and I was like 6 foot. So I kind of looked like a clown. So then freshman year, I was like 6'1", wearing like size 17. So I still looked like a clown. So that's probably, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a great athlete, but that's probably why he said that. So
Sure.
I don't know. It just kind of started with eating a lot. So I weighed 180 my freshman year. And then
hold on. So you were 180, 6 foot, wearing size
like 17 shoes. So it was kind of goofy.
It's like a puppy, like a lab, you know,
Right.
and their feet are way too, and they kind of like run funny. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so sophomore year, I hit like 6'4", and I was like 220. And then my junior year, I was 6'5", and I was like 265. And then my senior year, I would have hit like the heaviest I ever was, I came into Iowa at like 280, but I hit like 310 my senior year.
Oh my goodness.
in high school. You hit 310.
Yeah. And then I was like, I should probably lose some weight before I go to Iowa.
And then they probably had you put more on, right?
Yeah. I mean, the
That's
heaviest I
great.
ever got was last year. I hit like 350.
Oh my goodness.
Not a good look though.
Oh man.
But yeah, I don't know. I used to work at a restaurant in high school,
hmm
washing dishes, and boss man would always like let me get a free meal or something. He's awesome.
Just killing it.
So what was your recruiting process like from dork to?
Well, hold on, wait. I want to go back.
I'm sorry, that was terrible. No.
I want to go back actually to freshman year. You said 180.
Uh-huh.
How did you gain that weight?
Oh, yeah, that's
weight
40
is
pounds
always,
in a year is
Yeah. And
lot.
weight is always like a conversation that comes up. I mean, just because it's
because
such
I
a
was
big
so the
deal.
other way.
No, but it's such a big deal for, you know, if you want to play Big Ten football,
Sure.
like you got to be a big dude for it, regardless of what position you're playing at. But anyway, how did you do that?
So like the big thing I did was I'd make these shakes. So I'd take like a blender and I'd put like 8 or 10 raw eggs in it, and then like a couple scoops of protein. And then I'd use like Fairlife milk. So I'd take 2 cups of that. And then I'd put a bunch of peanut butter in there.
Mm-hmm.
So then after I ate breakfast, I'd get one of them giant Casey's cups and I'd put that in there and I'd just drink it during school. And then I would eat lunch and then I'd have another lunch after that. Like I'd pack my own lunch and then I'd have supper and then I'd have like a second supper. So it's just about calories in.
Yeah, just a lot of.
Did you
food.
just see it as like, I just want to gain weight, or were you legitimately that hungry?
No,
Or
I was
was
never
it
hungry. No. Yeah, I was just trying to gain weight and get the calories I needed.
Interesting.
My
So
goodness.
was the purpose in your mind, was it like, oh, I want to play Division I football, or was it just like, I'm just doing this to be the best player I can for our 11-man team that's pulling from 4 different schools? Like, what was the
Right.
thought process
No,
there?
yeah, I mean, I never ever thought I was going to play like Division I football ever. Like my dad and I used to have this joke where he's like, you're not playing for the Hawkeyes, you know, like he's kind of like saying, you know, I don't know, kind of like, not that it's unattainable, but it's probably not going to happen. Like I never thought I was going to be a Division I football player. So like my high school coach does a really good job of having like creating a culture within our football program. So all the younger guys really want to be great when they're older. So that's kind of what like drove that, was my high school football coach creating
Okay.
that stuff. So
Just so you could be as good as you could.
in high school, yeah.
And then it obviously turned some eyes. Do you mind now if I go into the?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it turned some eyes. So like, how did Iowa find out about you then?
Yeah, so we had a kid who was a year older than me named Isaiah Bruce. So he went to a camp at Iowa and caught the coach's attention, and then he got offered. And I can't remember if he committed when Coach Ferentz came to the school or not, but I know he was offered. So then Coach Ferentz came to the school to talk to Brucey, and Coach A, my high school head coach, was like, you should come see this Dunker kid. That's I think it was my sophomore year. So then I got pulled out of class to go talk to Coach Ferentz in the cafeteria. And then he talked to me, and then I went to a camp. And then I got offered right after my sophomore year. And then I took it on the spot
Wow.
after my sophomore year.
How nervous were you walking out to the cafeteria to meet with KF?
It was wild. You know, like I grew up watching the Hawks. Like that's the only team we watched. And like, you know, I actually have a picture like when I was born in the hospital. My Dad was wearing like an Iowa football shirt, which is kind of wild.
That's awesome.
Like we'd take family pictures wearing like Hawkeye football stuff, like me and my brothers would. And so I always grew up watching the Hawks and obviously always watching Coach Ferentz. So it's pretty wild that he's like even talking to me as a high school kid.
That is so
And
cool.
then less than a year later, you're committed to the Hawks.
Right.
So did anybody else even recruit you? Or did you just say, I don't even need anything else. This is it.
Well, nobody like even, I guess there was a couple of coaches that came to the school, but I didn't really like talk to them. And then I had a couple people obviously like DM me or whatever on Twitter.
Sure.
I didn't respond to it because it's like what else are you going to offer me, you know?
Right.
So I didn't really like try to.
Wow. That's amazing. Those are the stories that you hear about like pretty often at Iowa. Like luckily, I think that's what fans really love about the university is just that a lot of it is like the grassroots, right? Like the guys that are 2 stars or you didn't even know their name or whatever it might be. And then all of a sudden they're here and they're starting and whatnot, their junior, senior year. And it's just really cool to see those stories and lifelong Hawkeye fans.
Right.
They love to see that as well.
Well, and you said, so you were talking about that you were born and your dad's wearing your Hawkeye thing. So Jennings, not a very common name.
Yeah.
Are you named after something specific?
I don't think so. I think
There's no significance. They just came up with Jennings.
I think my mom just came up with it. Well, all my brothers and I, we all have names that start with G.
Oh,
So I think that's kind of, yeah.
I was gonna say, so now share your brother's names.
Oh yeah. So the middle one is Gage and then my youngest is Gannon.
Oh,
And we all have the same middle name too. So we all have the same initials.
really?
Yeah.
What's your middle name?
Michael. It's my dad's name. So
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
That is pretty cool.
So you have what do they call that? The soft G? It's Jennings. And then they have
I think
Gage
so.
and what's the other
Gannon.
one? Gannon. I've never heard that name before.
Yeah, I've never met anybody else. Actually, I've only heard of one other person named Gannon. So
That's cool. Are your brothers as big as you?
no, my middle one's he's about 6 foot. He's probably like 2. I mean, they're still big kids. He's probably about 220.
Okay.
And then my youngest is a sophomore. He's actually pretty big. He's probably about 6 foot, like 260, 270.
Dang. What about shoe size? Do they have the same?
So my middle brother is probably a size 12, and then my youngest is like a 14 or 15.
My goodness.
That's crazy.
Your parents big?
No, my dad's like 5'11" and 3/4.
You're lying.
I promise. And my mom's like 5. My mom's 5'9".
That's
So
that's
5'9"
really
is
tall though.
Yeah, that's pretty tall.
So do you have like tall uncles?
My uncle is like 5'8".
What?
My dad's brother's like 5'8", and then my mom's sister is like 5'7" or so.
What? That is insane.
I know, it's kinda
Grandparents
wild.
aren't like that big. Nothing like that.
No, my
So
grandpa's probably 6'1" or so.
So you just tower over everybody?
Yeah, kind of.
That is crazy. I'm sure your dad watching you grow up was like, what is
Yeah, I feel kind of bad for him. I mean, freshman year, I'm taller than him, so
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a shot to the ego for sure.
He's a pretty big dude though. So
Yeah. Wow. Like broad, I'm assuming.
mhm.
That's what you mean. Okay. So you come by. So hold on a second. Your dad, I think I read somewhere, was a power lifter. Is that right? Was
no,
something like that?
he used to do bodybuilding. He didn't do like
Bodybuilding.
powerlifting. No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Bodybuilding. Interesting. Does he still do I'm assuming he still lifts weights, still into that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think he only hits arms. He doesn't do leg stuff, which I kind of respect. I mean, I don't know about it from a like a health standpoint, but I definitely respect it.
Yeah. Just like the commitment.
Just arms, and he rides his bike too, which just gets his legs. But he's just a bench press kind of guy.
That's incredible. So did he like compete?
Yeah, he did. So originally, me and my brothers found the pictures in the closet. I think they're gone now.
They're in your mom's closet.
I
She's
think he threw them
hiding
away. I don't know what he did with them. I think he was upset that we found them, but they're gone now. I don't know where
my
they went.
gosh. That's funny. I feel like you would be proud of that.
Wow.
Is your mom an athlete? Or was? Whatever.
I think she played softball and volleyball in college, but I think it was like really small college. I think it was like community college or something. And then my dad didn't play any sports in college.
Dang.
Just
Okay.
got yoked.
He was pretty big. I mean, he still is really big. He's probably still benching like low 4s. I know it. Last time I went to the gym with him, he did like 365 for 8, and he's like 51.
What?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
That's
Did
wild.
he teach you how to lift?
He did a little bit. A lot of it was my uncle, my dad's brother, because he was doing like powerlifting and stuff. So he would help me make my programs when I was in high school, and especially during COVID and stuff. And then I would use a lot of the West Side Barbell training stuff too. Like I have all their books, and I would make a lot of programs through that. And me and my buddies would use those.
Gotcha.
Is there a drastic difference between bodybuilding, just for people that are listening?
Sure.
Is there a drastic difference between bodybuilding and then powerlifting?
Yeah, it's like a complete 180. So like with bodybuilding, you would usually split the workouts based on like a muscle group. And you would also do like a lot of high reps and high sets. So you would probably do, let's say, bench press like a 4x12. And then for like powerlifting, you would do, if you're following the West Side Barbell, you would split your days. So you'd work out 4 days a week and you would do like upper body, lower body, and then take a day off, and then upper body, lower body. And you do a lot lower reps, but you could still do high sets. It just depends if you're training, what you're doing for the day. Like if you're doing band resisted squats, you know, you would do probably maybe like 8 sets of 2 at different weights and different band strengths. So it just kind of depends what you're doing for the powerlifting, but it's a lot different.
So more based on like peak, well, I guess because you're trying to max out essentially, right? So a lot more peak power versus, I don't want to call it toning because I don't think that's the correct term, but because those guys are still yoked. It's just a different way to get there.
Exactly. Yeah, it just depends on how you want to build your muscles up, like what kind of like strain you want to put them under.
So is that something based on how much you know and how much you've gone through that, like, is that something you want to do long term? Like,
I'll probably lose a bunch of weight when I'm done playing football, just for the sake of my knees.
I'm not talking lifting.
Oh.
I'm talking like draw programs, and like when you're 55 and you're out of the league and you're like, hey, you know, I want to design programs or something like that, or is there something else that you'd rather?
Maybe, I might do that like for funsies or something, but I probably wouldn't try to do that for like my full-time job. I would do it for free for like a high school program or something, or work with a high school program for free. I don't know. I don't think that weightlifting would be something that I would ever want to make money off of, just because I feel like it's something that, you know, everybody should do. And I don't know. I guess I personally just wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. What is your major?
So I'm getting my bachelor's in human physiology.
Okay. What do you want to do with that?
So I'll take my MCAT next summer, and then I'll apply to med school in the fall. I'm probably going to apply to Iowa. So
amazing.
Yeah.
They've got a great med school, or so I hear.
It'd be pretty sweet to get in. So
what like route in the medical field do you want to go in, or do you not know yet?
I was thinking about doing something with pediatrics. I shadowed a psychiatrist who specializes with pediatrics. So I really like that a lot. So I'm definitely thinking about doing something with pediatrics.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Huh. So you have a soft heart for kids.
Something like that.
Yeah. Very cool. Do you have any? No, I guess you wouldn't have any.
This story is getting wilder. He's like, by the way, I'm just training for the MCAT. Like,
yeah. What is that process like? I actually don't know anything about it.
There's a lot of different routes that you can go. So there's some routes where like you do the traditional route where you buy books and then you kind of study those, which I probably won't do because I won't have a lot of time to study for it because I'll be getting out of spring semester and stuff. So, or you can like buy the online program and that kind of tailors it towards you. And then there's also ways that like people will make certain flashcards to kind of quiz yourself throughout like the studying process. And then you can like go back on what you missed and you don't have to review what you already know.
Gotcha. So the MCAT, like, okay, so what is that? What does that test look like? Is it written?
It's on a computer.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
sorry.
right. Yeah. No, that's okay.
Not like a panel is kind of what she's getting at.
No, that's the thing later, right? That's your boards. Is that right?
Yeah, that's like for certification.
Got it.
Yep. But
okay.
like, so there's like math and science and reasoning and stuff and biology.
Sure.
So.
Huh.
How do you have time to study for all that kind of stuff while you're playing?
Yeah.
I don't know. You kind of have to like, you have to have a really good plan because you have to know how much time you can like allocate for certain things, and you have to know what's going to take a lot of time and what's not going to take a lot of time, and kind of what you can
get by with.
Yeah, yeah. Kinda.
I'll say it. You don't have to. These are my words.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. In a sense like that. So, and then you have to like study in a way that works for you. So, like I have in my old place, I had like 164 square feet of whiteboard just on the walls and stuff. So I would like look through my lecture notes and write stuff down that I didn't really understand. And I would go back through it like every day or like before bed, just read through it and like try to figure that kind of stuff out.
Huh. Just like a lot of whiteboards.
A lot of whiteboards.
That's a lot of square foot of whiteboards.
So you're very into your academics is what I'm gathering. Have you always been that way?
No.
Really?
No, not at all.
What changed that?
Well, so in high school, I graduated. Well, so in high school, I didn't really take any, how do I say this? We'll say STEM classes. I kind of just did woodworking and welding and that kind of stuff. And I kind of, I wouldn't say goofed around, but I didn't take it as seriously as I probably should have. So when I get to college and I don't do so hot on my placement tests, like really bad. And my advisor's like, are you sure you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, let's roll the dice. So I was like, let's do it. Like I got nothing else to do. Let's see what happens. So then I was like, I really need to figure out how to study for this kind of stuff and just kind of figure it out. So it's kind of like a sink or swim kind of moment. So
and then you just kind of like fell in love with it and realized like, oh, I guess I am pretty smart. If I apply myself.
I don't know if I'm that smart. I don't know. I guess I kind of just know how like learning works for me and stuff. And
how does learning work for you?
I don't know. I guess it would just depend on like the subject because it just would depend on how like I guess I picture stuff.
Okay.
Like, so for, I guess, chemistry, a lot of it is like conceptual, where I guess if you can like picture certain things, and like I have a model kit too for chemistry. And I took OChem, I still have it. So you could like make different models and kind of like picture how stuff works. And then for math, it's, like knowing formulas and when they would work and when they don't. So that kind of stuff.
Huh. Wow, that's pretty amazing that you just kind of were like, yeah, I guess, yeah, I could
I
probably
say I'm
learn
kind of
all
getting
these
floored
things.
over here. That's,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
I figured I'd roll the dice.
Yeah.
I was
Just,
feeling
like,
dangerous.
Bet on yourself a little bit. Why not?
Well, I was like, I don't know, just see what happens.
Let's say you didn't go to school here and play football here. What do you think you would have done?
I definitely would not have went to school probably.
Really?
I don't know what I would have done. Maybe, I don't know, probably do some kind of manual labor like my buddies do. So
Sure. Just back home. Kind of.
yeah, yep.
Gotcha. How often do you go back home?
Kind of whenever I can, I like to go back and see, oh my gosh, see my little brothers and see my family and see my buddies back home too. So
Do
What?
they make it to most of your games?
what's up?
Do they make it down here for most of the games?
My buddies you're saying, or my little brothers?
Everybody.
Yeah, I got one buddy that comes down whenever he can. He's got a spare bed at my house. So Dolph's got a spare bed at my house. This is actually his dad's company right here. I'm wearing the Doc shirt. So
Nice.
Jeez.
Winslow, Illinois. I see that. All
Doc's
right.
Excavating Inc.
Yeah, there you go.
Free shout out.
and the artesian well in Winslow. It's like the 8th wonder of the world.
The what? What'd you
So
say?
So there's like a well in Winslow that everybody gets their water at.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it's pretty funny. Like last time I went there, I seen like 3 people with the giant 5-gallon water jugs getting water. It's pretty awesome.
Do you not have just like city water?
No, they have city water.
They
I
just
don't know
like
why
the
they
well?
do it. It's pretty funny though.
Did you ever do it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Does it
No, yeah, I've
taste better?
it just tastes like regular water. But maybe I got a bad taste for water or something. I don't know.
Maybe it's just the tradition of it. They just like that.
It's pretty funny though. It cracks me up.
It's so random. And that's like a well-known thing about your
About
No pun
Winslow?
intended.
That's probably like the only thing in
Yeah,
Winslow.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Actually, a kid I went to high school with, he's a pretty good guy. He got married there
At the well?
At the well.
at the well. Pretty electric.
Pretty electric. You said you're going back for a wedding this coming weekend or 2
Yeah,
days
on
from now.
Saturday I am. It's cousin Becky's wedding. It's going to be awesome.
Jennings Dunker. Yeah, I love that. You still have to get a shirt. We discussed that.
Yeah, hopefully she's not watching this, but I still got to get a shirt.
It's no big deal. You'll get it.
It won't come out before the wedding, so
Yeah.
Perfect.
No.
she won't. She won't.
Well, I'm an usher, so I figured I probably should go get a shirt. So
I feel like, I mean, your words, you kind of said it's going to be more of like a hillbilly kind of wedding.
we'll see. I hope it is.
I
That's
feel
what
like
I'm
you
hoping
wouldn't
for.
need a shirt if that's the case.
I think I'm trying to like speak it into existence, like the kind of wedding I want to go to. It's going to be awesome. I'm pretty pumped. I don't know how I'd feel about going to like one of them really fancy ones, where you got to like wear a suit and stuff. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
those would
know,
be- those would be terrible.
like, I don't know where the silverware goes on plates and stuff, like when
Right.
you sit down and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I always learned you got to think about how many letters are in it. So fork has 4 letters, left has 4 letters, spoon has 5, right has 5, knife has 5, goes on the right.
That's actually genius.
it is
There you go.
actually. You've never said that to me before.
I took a class in 8th grade.
Good job. That's
Are you,
funny.
is it like rude to not do that? Like, or
To
does
have
it come like it rolled up? Like the
Normally
silverware?
it comes rolled up, but like if you're going to set it down, otherwise, if you notice like you have your regular fork and then your salad fork, if you go to a fancy place, and then everything that's 5 letters is on the right.
I
And
didn't know.
then
that.
does the table or the napkin always go in your lap?
I always put the napkin on my right lap.
Does it matter what knee it goes on?
Right.
I think
Maybe
it kind
like-
of depends on what your hand.
Yeah, maybe
what
like
your
the one that
dominant hand.
you're eating with. So then if you were to drop something, it would
You
drop
would
from
use. Yeah,
That's really
side.
smart, actually.
you're just taking some notes
I
for
remember that.
when you're
put
going
this on the
to.
whiteboard when you get home.
Usually I just put the napkin on the table
Yeah. Then it's easy to access.
That's
Gotta
true.
use it.
or not use silverware too. So, like if you're eating a steak, you just gotta eat it with your hands.
You don't use silverware for steak?
No.
Really? Like
That was-
actually?
he said that so disgustingly.
Well, you guys have
why
like
would you?
for your like celebration meals. I don't know if you want to call them that, but on Sundays after you guys win on a Saturday, you guys would typically you have steak right for dinner?
I guess it would just depend who's bringing stuff in. Sometimes it's like lobster or
Sure.
whatever.
Okay, so let's just say it's steak, and you're at the complex. You
Well,
just bare hands.
Oh yeah. Or like chicken breast or something. If it's not like pasta, you don't need them. You don't need silverware.
Okay, I can rock with that. That makes sense to me.
I wouldn't do that like in a formal setting.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't. So I'd have to,
Just retrain.
I guess,
the brain.
civilize myself for that. But
But see, there's the thing about his hands, and I brought it up last game, and I said it off air. He's the kind of guy that scares me because he doesn't wear gloves.
Oh, yeah,
when
he did say
plays.
that. He mentioned that when the Minnesota game.
Yes.
He's like, Jennings doesn't wear gloves. That's scary. Why don't you wear gloves?
I don't know. I was having some issues with my hand placement, like in fall camp when I was going against Max Llewellyn. He's an animal. And I was like, I'm just not gonna wear gloves or wrist protection. I'm just gonna roll. See what happens. So then I stopped doing it. My hand placement got better, and then I was like, my fingers got tore up a little bit, but I was like, whatever. Like I got 10 of them, so if I lose one, I still got 9 more.
Yeah.
And they just have to open and close. So
They should be fine.
yeah,
Could still eat steak with 9.
That mentality is exactly what would scare anybody else that sees a lineman. Nothing taped, no wrist supports, no gloves, and he just lines up. No way, dude.
That's incredible. Huh.
I'm out.
So small town, you have a lot of buddies back home.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that you guys would do for fun?
I can't wait to hear the answer to this question.
I'm assuming you worked a lot, like in the
Yeah.
summer. So you're spending your days like out in the fields, I'm assuming? You worked on a farm, you said?
well, so I worked on my boss's farm, so we just I did a lot of mowing and like weed whacking.
Okay.
I'm dangerous with a weed whacker. Clean the pond out and stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He would loan me out to bale hay. He didn't have he didn't bale hay, but he'd loan me out to other farmers to bale hay and stuff. Or I'd get like random calls, you know, like, can you come out at this time and come do this work for us? Or, you know, kind of whatever people needed. And then I worked in the restaurant too.
Okay.
Fed calves and stuff too. So
Gotcha. So then when you weren't doing that, what were your guys' hobbies that you would like to do?
That you can share.
yeah. I mean,
He goes, yeah, with a grin.
I had a lot of slip and sliding.
Oh.
I got an old silo bag that I cut up and we did a lot of slip and sliding. So I always kept that. I had a car before I totaled it and I had a trunk. So I'd always keep like a slip and slide in the bed of the car.
I mean, it's part of the necessity of
That's what I'm
what
saying.
you bring.
So you'd always just have a slip and slide on hand. So we did a lot of slip and sliding. A lot of fireworks. Fireworks are pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
What else did we do? Just goofing around, swimming in ponds and stuff.
It's like making me nervous, like the subtle giggles that you're doing under your breath. I'm like, there's something else back there.
Hold on. He said he totaled the car. You got to take us through that.
Yeah,
I
what
just
happened?
smoked a deer.
Oh no. And that did it, huh?
I know, and then I couldn't even find the deer because, you know, you figured you could like eat it, like cut it up and eat it, but I couldn't even, it got away.
What kind of car was
So you
it?
totaled the car and the deer still got away?
It was unreal.
That's
so
a heck
sad.
of a deer. Or you just like flew it when you made contact.
I was like coming up over a hill and it was dark and I just smoked it.
Oh man, what kind of car?
It was like an old Chevy Impala.
Okay, so you would have had to like put it in your trunk too.
The
if you
slip and
would've
slide?
found it.
Or the deer.
The deer.
Well,
You'd have
my-
to move the slip and slide.
Well, if it was already totaled, I would have just thrown it in the back seat.
Oh, fair.
So it's like whatever.
Why could I envision him just holding it on top,
Yeah.
like just laying it flat and just holding it down by its neck or something and driving?
That would have been sweet. Could have ratchet strapped it, I guess, to the top.
That's true. The reason
Yes.
that these kind of conversations make us like laugh so hard is because my brother is very similar, which you wouldn't expect, but he has like the exact same stories. Like one time he put up a pool, like a above ground pool in the back of his house. I mean, like keep in mind, he was like 28, 30, maybe even older at the time. Late bloomer, okay? And he puts up this like above ground pool in his backyard. And one of his friends had bought like a bus, like almost like a school bus, but it was like, and they just like one day, full pool, were like, we should just run through this
Yeah.
bus, like through the pool. I'm like, yeah, sounds good. They just did that in the backyard.
That's awesome.
Like these are, and so I'm like, I resonate
That
with
and the
that.
deer hanging in the middle of the apartment.
Yeah, we don't need to share that one.
The deer head, you're saying?
No, they
They
cleaned
a deer in the middle of an apartment.
in the middle of their apartment at one point, like indoors. You know,
Did they live in the city?
I mean, they lived in Cedar Rapids, if you want to call that a city.
They didn't have a garage?
Apparently not.
I feel like it's not that weird.
Okay, see, this is
When you're
what
not
I
we
would
do.
do it in
used
the
to it.
bathroom,
The bath.
over
Okay,
the bathtub, but I guess I don't know how you'd hang it. So
They
I
did
feel like
the
that also
kitchen.
comes with expectation. We didn't expect, or your parents didn't expect to walk into that. I feel like in the best way possible, I could see you doing that and I wouldn't be as surprised.
yeah.
Be like, yeah, he's got one here. All right.
that would be pretty funny though.
I also saw that your senior year you played your senior prank. You let some things go in the school.
I
Tell
did,
us
yeah.
about that.
So I originally was gonna let like some rats loose or some mice, But I was kind of worried someone's going to step on them. And then it's like, oh, geez. And then you got to catch them too after. You can't just let them loose because then you got to get the janitors to get them. And I don't want to do that.
Okay.
So I got a bunch of feeder ducks. And I had a...
Define feeder ducks for those of us that know nothing.
Sure. So a feeder duck is like kind of your like stereotypical duck. Like they're the big white ones
Okay.
that you would eat. So I got a dog kennel in the bed of my truck.
Next to the slip and slide.
Well, this is, I didn't have a slip and slide in the bed of my truck
Okay.
at this point. But I got a dog kennel and I put a bunch of feeder ducks in it, like 5 of them. And I backed it up to the school entrance. And like when the bell rang, I had me and my buddies let a bunch of ducks loose in the school. It was pretty awesome.
Okay.
I thought they would like run everywhere. They really didn't. They just kind of
hung
stood
out.
there.
Oh, well, that's a little less
That
exciting.
sounds very anticlimactic.
It really was.
They're like, all right, go. And they're just...
Just hang out.
They pooped everywhere though.
Oh, shoot.
Like I bet
That
it was
makes
over like
sense.
25 times.
Seriously?
Oh yeah. It was just everywhere,
Ew.
which we cleaned up, but
Oh,
Are senior
Oh.
pranks common at your high school?
yeah. And like nobody else really wanted to do it. So it was just kind of up to me and Doffy. So it was just us two.
had to just roll the dice on that one, too.
I was like, this would be kind of funny.
Were there any good ones prior to your senior year that you can remember?
Not really. Nothing that was like that creative.
Not like
So
feeder
they're
ducks.
just lacking in creativity.
Outside of like TPing the principal's house or something.
Right.
Mm,
Yeah.
boring. Live animals, much more exciting.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So you had to clean it
Actually,
all
I
up.
guess there were, I don't remember what year it was, but I know there were a bunch of like hogs let loose on the football field
Really?
at one point.
Now that
Now that I
sounds
remember
good.
it, that one's pretty sick.
Live animals.
Yeah. That's the most exciting thing. So they have to like catch them and take them.
But I don't know. I don't have a hog trailer. So I don't know
Oh.
how I would have got a bunch of hogs
I
in the
love how he
field.
goes to the logistics thing of like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to even get them there.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to do that, but
I totally would have.
And my coach would be he would have been so mad at me.
Describe your coach, because he kind of sounds like, just based off of him being like, yeah, he was a terrible athlete, like straight up to the media. He kind of seems like a no BS, like just say it how it is kind of guy. Like, is that a fair assessment?
He definitely is, and he'll act like he doesn't have like a soft spot or anything, but he definitely does.
What's his name?
Coach A, Rick Rand.
Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty. I really like Coach A. I'm going to see him up on Friday. Actually, I just texted him yesterday. So,
Oh, nice.
but he's definitely a really good guy. He definitely was. I mean, he was really influential in me and my high school years and stuff. So,
Yeah,
and even getting me to Iowa, he's really the only reason I got here. So,
that's pretty cool. You said he was pretty influential in your life. In what kind of ways? Just kind of raising you up to,
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean,
not raising you,
yeah,
obviously.
him
but-
and my track coach Austin Rickles, they worked with me a lot, and Coach Rickles would work with me like almost every day doing additional speed work and just help me out with my workouts and all that kind of stuff, and just really helping me out and just like kind of developing me into someone that would, I guess, play Division I football.
Yeah. Huh. That's really special. What size shoes do you wear now?
These are 17s.
17s. How hard are those to find? I mean, now you get them from the complex, but
Yeah,
Before
I would just find a pair of shoes online and just wear them for like a year or two, because they're just shoes, so they don't have to look nice.
Yeah. Just if they did the job.
Exactly.
But like work boots, didn't you have to wear them like
I
on the
did.
farm
Yeah,
and
they actually
stuff?
make those in pretty big sizes.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Well, that would make sense.
they're ready for some big dudes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
makes
good.
sense.
I bet they're pretty expensive though.
They're usually like the normal price.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you make that argument that like a size 9 is the same as a size 17?
Well, I'm guessing that their cost of making them is just so low that they're just kind of like whatever. They have such a high profit margin, I'm guessing, from just the different shoes.
It kind of makes me mad as somebody that wears like a women's size 9.
That's what I'm saying.
You know? Kind of not fair. A lot more leather.
Right.
Okay. Interesting. So then, so now you are obviously entrenched in like studying for the MCAT, playing football here. There's not much time for much else. But what do you do outside of those things? Like, what are some of your hobbies or things you enjoy doing?
Yeah. So usually like me and Krogy will kill Krog. We'll go fishing or something. So like during the summer, I wasn't taking a class. So I kind of had to entertain myself. So we'd go fishing, and then whatever we would catch, we'd usually like eat or cook up or something, or, just different, I mean, it's rabbit season's coming up here pretty soon, so might get a rabbit and eat that up and cook it up.
How do you cook it?
So I've actually had rabbit before. So obviously like you'll clean it and you'll take the meat out. And what me and Krog did is we marinate it in barbecue and Italian dressing overnight, and then you put it on a kebab and you grill it.
Really?
It's so good.
I think have I only heard of rabbit soup? Does that sound right?
Yeah, rabbit stew.
Rabbit stew. Okay. I've never had it, but I've heard like it's not great to have just like how you would cook chicken. Is that not true?
I mean, usually you want to eat rabbits after like in the spring and the frost. So that the ones that have all like the parasites and issues are dead. No, it's actually really good. I would eat that over like pork.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What's the nutritional value on something like rabbit?
It's got to be really high in protein. I'll have to ask Coach Braithwaite on that one, but it's really good.
Okay.
I want to be a fly on the wall when you talk to Coach Braithwaite about the nutritional value of grilled rabbit, marinated in barbecue sauce.
I got really bored one time, and we got a raccoon. We made raccoon stew, and I was asking him about the nutritional value on that, and he didn't really have a good answer for me.
Really?
I'm shocked.
Unreal.
At some point with all these like farm boys coming from small town Iowa, they have to get some kind of answers on that because you never know what to expect.
There's got to be like a chart, like it's 2 rabbits is a chicken in caloric value or something like that.
Mm-hmm. You would think.
Yeah, rabbit meat is super lean.
Really?
It's so lean. Yeah, especially the back straps, the meat right along the spine.
Yeah.
It's really lean.
Huh. What about raccoon? That sounds disgusting.
I was pretty bored. And I figured like if you're gonna get something, you better eat it. You know, like you just don't kill something to kill it. But
totally.
You know, it took a while to clean the meat because there's so many tendons and stuff in it.
Did you have to like YouTube how to clean a raccoon, or you just did it?
Yeah.
Roll the dice.
Well, you just kind of you'll just skin it and then you'll just cut the meat out.
Yeah.
And then you pick the tendons out and you clean it and you get all the fur off and stuff of it. And then you'll put it in water in the fridge for a little bit. And then, we crock potted it because they're kind of, I figured if we got one on the country, it wouldn't be as dirty as a city one because they're eating trash all the time and stuff.
Oh.
So
that makes sense.
So we crock potted it for a long time. So it's really cooked.
Yeah.
When you have rabbit, how do you rabbit hunt? And what do you use?
So like if they're a nuisance, you can get them. So
what do you mean by that? Like if they're overrunning an area?
So if they're like, if you have a garden or something, they're a nuisance, they're eating your plants, you can get them. Or if it's rabbit season, you can get them. So usually you just get them with a 22.
Why do I envision you like in the garden? You've got like the blade in your mouth, like a movie scene almost. You pop up over and then you just.
If I was fast enough, I would.
No, I don't see that. I see like he's just woke up. You have like black coffee. Do you drink coffee?
I love coffee.
Black.
I don't put anything in it.
I knew it. And you have like flannel pants on.
That'd be sweet.
Like, just woke up. You're just sitting there with your sip of coffee and just
get them.
Yeah.
Get breakfast.
Yeah. They're in your garden.
Yeah, rabbit's really good.
Huh. Okay.
Raccoon. So I went to Walmart to go because I looked up a recipe for like the raccoon stew and I couldn't find like some soup. I didn't know where it was in Walmart. So I found a lady in Walmart who I asked her, I was like, hey, have you ever made raccoon stew before? Like I'm trying to find the cream mushroom soup or whatever. And I can't find it. And she's like, I've made it before. You should use chicken broth.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
What?
So this lady was giving me suggestions to make it. It was pretty awesome.
No way.
Oh yeah.
Also, cream of mushroom soup is used for so many recipes. You didn't.
I couldn't. I don't know if it was French onion soup. I couldn't find. I don't know where it was. I called my mom too. I was like, hey mom, where's this soup at?
Yeah.
And she tried to tell me and I couldn't find it. So then I asked this random lady and she's like, yeah, you should use chicken broth.
By the way, with your raccoon stew.
Yeah.
You're making it all wrong.
Yeah.
It actually was good. It just tastes like kind of like roast beef. Like if I made the stew for you and I didn't tell you it was raccoon meat, you would never have known.
Really? What else did you put in it?
Put some, we chopped up some potatoes and put them in there. And then it was just chicken broth and it's a cream mushroom soup and some vegetables.
Okay.
I had a couple bowls of it. It was actually pretty good.
Yeah. All right. I mean, that doesn't sound that bad. Yeah. You would just have to not tell me that that's what it is.
Yeah.
What else do you hunt for?
Just weird stuff.
You don't do
I know. Keep it going. Roll the dice. What we got?
Usually just rabbits or I probably won't get another raccoon for a little bit. That was kind of a one-off thing, but I'd do it again just for funsies if I'm like that bored and hungry.
I mean, you don't know like deer hunting or anything like that? I mean, obviously like
I don't know. It's kind of boring.
Time.
I mean, I like eating venison.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it's as much fun.
Yeah.
So, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. He went deer hunting one time with my brother and I think it was like your like coming of age trip where he just like became a man after that, just like spending time around guys like you, where you just gotta like
post college finally happened.
Yeah.
Thanks, Laura.
No, but he did. He got like a big deer and good job. He's a good shot. And we just had it all made into like deer jerky and
Yeah,
nothing
it's so
else.
good.
It's
Yes.
so good. It's been
And
sitting
the deer
in-
sticks.
Yeah. And it lasts a long time. Put it in the freezer. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
It actually is really good. I don't know that I would do like steaks and that kind of stuff.
Seriously?
Though. I don't think so. I don't know. I think I've tried it before and I just didn't like totally love it.
There's a deer bacon, kind of like turkey bacon, but deer bacon. That's really good too.
You ever had that?
I've not. I just had like the sticks and stuff and different venison.
Yeah.
I know it's really good for you too.
Right.
Have you had frog?
Yeah, I've had frog. My buddy
Yeah.
Doff, his old man, knows how to cook some frog legs.
Where do you get your frogs?
So he's got a couple ponds. So they just went gigging and got them.
Define gigging.
So I didn't do it, but usually you take like a stick and you got a bunch of needles on the end of it and you'll see a frog and you just
Oh.
get
So
them.
it's like a mini spear.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I mean,
It's pretty good. It's actually really good.
it's one of those things where like you hear it and you're like, oh, that sounds terrible. But then you eat it. It's like, well, what do you want me to do?
I didn't say it was terrible.
No, not you.
The
but-
only reason I ask, I went with her brother and her brother's friend. Her brother's friend owned a bunch of koi ponds
Mhm.
because he breeds koi fish, right?
Yeah.
Or he did at the time.
Mhm.
And so the frogs would go mess with all of them. So we took a Ranger and a bunch of 22s and would just go around and shoot all the frogs on the end. And I think we ended up with like 70 frogs that then they put in butter flavored Crisco, deep fried them.
Mhm.
Those were
It's really good.
really good.
That was the first time in Matt's full playing career that he hit over 200 pounds after he ate
I ate
all of
so
those
many
frog legs. He stepped on the scale and he was like, oh my gosh.
Frog legs are
Goal
so
weight
good.
was 194. I was,
over 200.
and I was always like, gotta gain. But butter flavored Crisco, deep fried,
That'll get you.
that'll get you.
That sounds
there.
good.
Yeah. Next time you get a raccoon, throw some Crisco on
Might
it.
have to.
Fry it up.
Butter flavored Crisco.
hmm
But yeah, too, I mean, usually like people, I don't know, like to hunt and stuff, like people think that they don't really like, I guess, care about animals and stuff, but usually it's the ones who hunt that like they're the most worried about them and stuff, you know? So,
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
it's for a purpose,
right.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if you're just shoot them to shoot them, it's like, what are you doing, you know? So,
I agree with that.
so I figured you better eat it.
Yeah.
Unless they're overrunning something like
Exactly.
for her brother's bachelor party, we kidnapped him and went down. It was like 18 of us, 15 of us.
Went down to Oklahoma.
Went down to Oklahoma and went hog hunting because
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
got too many hogs there. So we just went there and like went hog hunting.
And you really can't eat them because like they get so stressed out that the meat just tastes terrible. Like, it's terrible.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But
I
they're
think-
like dangerous
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
area.
Yeah. And they'll tear up like farmers' crops and stuff.
Right.
Mhm.
Huh. Would you ever do that?
Go hog hunting.
Yeah.
I think Jack Campbell did something out of a helicopter.
Seriously? That's
who
pretty
was
sick.
on that was talking to us about it?
I have no idea.
Can't remember who it was, but yeah, they said that like he was legitimately up there shooting.
That's actually awesome. That'd be I probably would do that.
You'd feel like what's that movie with the guy?
Oh, that's a tough start.
Forget it. I'm gonna leave it there. Are you a movie person or not really?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Book?
Yeah, I like to read books.
What kind of books?
So right now I'm reading Christine by Stephen King.
What's that? Like what's it about?
Oh, it's kind of about like a kid that like sees a car he really likes and falls in love with it.
Oh, like actually falls in love with
Kind
it.
of, yeah.
So it's
I'm
called-
like halfway through, so I can't give you a full synopsis on it, but
That's okay. A Stephen King book though. Those are like, aren't those big?
it's huge. It's probably like 700 pages.
Seriously.
Mhm.
And that's your vibe. Like the long form books like that.
Yeah, I mean, I read a bunch of Ernest Hemingway over the summer and like a bunch of different stuff. So
Really? How did you get into that?
I don't know. I just got kind of bored and I was like, let's just read some, because I don't really like to like watch TV or do that stuff. So I was like, I'll just read this book.
Okay. So there's no like shows that you watch.
The amount of range on
Yeah.
from Jennings Dunker
Yeah.
is unbelievable.
It's just so much
This
to cover.
is yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I think
You
so.
might be like the coolest dude on the team.
Yeah.
Really?
In terms of range, like
Yeah.
I don't know many people that will meet somebody in Walmart, talk about what soup you need for raccoon stew. And then also I read Ernest Hemingway and I'm reading a Stephen King book.
Yeah.
But I'm also studying for the MCAT and I play football at Iowa.
Yeah.
That lady was pretty cool who helped me out.
Yeah, I bet.
But this is crazy.
It really is. Was that in Iowa City, by the way?
Yeah, it was at the Walmart. I guess the only Walmart in Iowa City.
Yeah. I didn't know which one you're talking
It
about.
was like an older lady with her daughter or something. And I was like, hey, have you ever made like I can't find this stuff.
That is what it had to be 1 in a million.
It was pretty
The
awesome.
fact that she knew that.
It was just fate. Yeah.
I love that.
I noticed a couple tattoos. Do you mind
Yeah.
sharing?
Yeah. So I mean,
tattoos?
I won't take my shirt off, but I get like my whole chest is covered. So
Seriously?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I got my first one when I was I got my first tattoo when I was 18.
Why are you smiling?
Just on my chest. So that was my first one. So
There's a weird story that isn't there.
yeah, and then I did my arms, and then I guess I went left to right.
Okay. What's on
Are
your
there
arms?
any significant meanings to any of them?
Yeah, so
you would
so
feel
all of them
okay
are,
sharing?
yeah, so all of them are Bible stories. So I guess this one this is probably it probably doesn't technically look the best. This one's probably my favorite. It's just kind of like finding your purpose in your life, like God's call for your life. So that's like Moses in the burning bush. But yeah, I mean, all of these are biblical tattoos, and they all have like some kind of meaning. So
That's cool. Would you ever get more?
I don't know. I don't want to get like too many, because if I work in like pediatrics, I don't want to like look scary.
Oh, right.
I'm
So
already
the
like
mustache of the hair
I'm already like
is-
a big dude. So
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be able to have this hair if I apply for med school and go to med school. But
There's time. There's
Yeah.
plenty of time.
yeah, right.
Gotcha.
So if they're all biblical stories and whatnot, like we like to ask our guests like how faith kind of plays into it.
Sure.
If you feel comfortable sharing,
No,
like
yeah.
how has faith kind of helped you along with all this?
I think the big thing is kind of, like the biblical message of using your gifts that God has given you for like something greater than yourself. I think that's probably like one of the biggest things that I like use within my faith, so sometimes maybe you don't want to do something, or I mean, everyone does that, like nobody wants to go to work and stuff. I mean, I'm really fortunate I get to play football. So, also like taking to that, like, I don't know, like maybe.
Oh, there's lows in football. I mean,
Right, exactly.
Injuries and things like that for sure.
Right. And I've had a lot of injuries, and, and it's kind of just the thought of using your gifts for something bigger than yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. The other thing too that we get from a lot of guys and women that we've had on the podcast too, women's student athletes, is like a sense of identity that's outside of your sport.
Sure.
You kind of feel that too.
I guess kind of in a sense, I don't know. I guess I've never really, put my identity in sports. I guess I don't know.
There's so many places you can put your identity.
I guess, I don't know.
It's the range.
I suppose.
Range.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. Is that like a big part of your family, or is that something that you kind of found?
Yeah,
when you went to
definitely. I mean, I
college?
grew up going to church, like once a week, and then twice a week with youth group sometimes. And then
Okay.
I'll go out to Grace up in North Liberty
Okay.
on Sundays when I got time. So
Yeah. That's
Very cool.
awesome. Very cool. Who's your do you have roommates?
I do. I live with Tyler Ellsbury and his girlfriend, Georgia. And then I'm also an uncle to 2 dogs.
And uncle.
There's 2 dogs at the house.
Gotcha.
They're kind of naughty sometimes, though.
What kind of dogs?
One is so she's like a doodle, so she's a poodle mixed with border collie. She's
Okay.
actually really well behaved.
Uh-huh.
And the other one is a golden retriever puppy,
Oh
so
boy.
she's naughty.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Just like ripping up paper.
But one of them got a rabbit, so I don't know. It
One
might
of
be
them-
good dogs.
One of them got a rabbit, you said?
Yeah, there's like a dead rabbit in the yard.
Wow.
I know. Supper tonight.
I don't know. I don't know if I would trust that.
Really?
I don't know. I'm not sure how long's it been there.
Do you trust an Iowa
Just
City
today.
rabbit?
Just
I do. Well, they only eat like grass and stuff, so it's like, how bad could it be?
That's true.
Well, I told Coach Ferentz on that I was going to get some rabbits, and he was pretty intrigued by it.
Yeah.
And I told him the next day, well, he asked me if I'd seen any, and I didn't. I told him I'd bring him some rabbit meat. Not that I'd bring him that rabbit, but
Yeah.
I'll have to get one and bring him some rabbit meat.
I wonder, do you think you would eat it?
I don't know. I think he would maybe think about trying it.
I think he would try it. I think if you cooked it for him, he's too nice to
It'd
say
be rude
no.
not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he'd be concerned.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. I'd have to be after winter because I don't want to give him something and make him sick.
Yeah.
That'd be really bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Probably don't give him the one that's sitting in your backyard
That
right
one's
now
for me.
in the heat.
That was from me.
It's so
It's probably cooking right now. Thawing out, cooking.
It might
Yeah, I
be.
don't actually. Second thought, I might not eat that rabbit.
Yeah. I'm glad we could like talk you out of that.
Sometimes I get a little excited.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
That's absolutely
Just
fair.
depends how hungry you are. What's
That's
your
what I'm
diet
saying.
like now?
It
Do you
just
have
kind of
to-
it just kind of depends on the day. Like
Okay.
today, I probably won't eat a ton except for tonight at supper because I'll have practice tomorrow. But
Okay.
I don't know. It's really kind of day dependent.
Okay. What are you like, you have to watch your weight? Are you more like trying to gain? Like, where are you kind
Mason
of at
said
with
he's
that?
always got to eat all the time.
Really,
Yeah.
Is that kind of? It doesn't sound like you're in that boat. If you can
not
wait.
really. I don't know. I really don't have to eat that often or really that much. I mean, I kind of stay around 315 or so.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess game day, you're obviously eating a lot more, and then Friday, you're obviously eating a ton more.
Mm-hmm.
But then like Wednesday nights and Thursday, you're really not eating a ton, or Sunday, you're not eating a ton.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Where'd the hair come from? Where was the inspiration there? Because it was buzzed for a
Yeah,
while,
no.
right?
So I kind of did a case study on Connor Colby. So his freshman year, he had a mullet. Second year didn't.
Okay.
Now he's got a mullet and he's playing a lot better during fall camp and in the summer. So I was like, maybe I should give this a whack. So I did. And then I also thought it was pretty funny. Like I just thought it was entertaining.
Yeah.
And I also so I, Bobby T out at Thompson & Co. was cutting my hair.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go back there, but I mean, it's been a while, but like before the first game, it was so hot.
Mm-hmm.
I saw one of my buddies cut my hair up.
Okay.
He's pretty good at it.
Really? Just as a little trim?
Yeah. I was having him cut my hair before I went to Bobby
That's
T.
a lot of trust.
He's got it.
Do you just shave the sides yourself, or do you let him do that?
I just let him do that. Well, I figured I was
Does
like,
he use a straight razor?
on my face, you're saying?
Yeah.
I use an electric razor.
Really?
Oh, you do this, but you get that close. Impressive.
Yeah, no, but I was like, I mean, before Bobby T, I wasn't really getting, I just had my buddies cut my hair.
Yeah.
Because I was like, whatever, like it doesn't have to look that nice. It just has to be not too long. So we just do it in the bathroom or something, or in the dorm room, whatever.
Yeah. I remember, I don't know, it was one of the sports reporters that covers Iowa football was like had some like video or photo of you, and he was like, Iowa football always has one guy that looks like this, and he's always really good and really scary, and it was you.
I wouldn't say scary, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I just thought it'd be funny to have this hair.
I think you meant like on the field.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, you just fit right in there.
How about the mustache then? How did that start? Was that a case study on another lineman?
No, so I got that when I was like 16 or like, it didn't look that good when I was a junior in high school, but I thought it was so funny. Like I just thought it looked so funny. And I just kept it and I never got rid of it.
Seriously, you've never gotten rid of it since junior in high school?
I never shaved it. I just thought it was too funny.
Huh.
Like it just looked too funny. I was like, I can't get rid of it.
I just don't know logistically how you guys do that. Like food, that kind of stuff. Like, don't you feel like it stinks? I'm not saying
No,
it
I got
does.
you. I mean, I'll throw soap. I'll wash it, you know?
You do.
Oh yeah, you got to.
You have to. That's
But
what I'm
no, I don't
saying.
know. I guess you just got to keep it short.
Okay. That makes sense.
I mean, it looks nice. It looks like you take care of it.
I just trimmed it up last night. My hair was too long.
Okay. Got it. Who do you think in the lineman room you are closest with, but also like mess with the most?
I don't know. I guess I don't really mess with anybody too much.
Okay.
Sometimes Lojo,
Okay.
you know, if he's looking like he needs it.
What?
But I don't know. Just sometimes he does.
Sometimes.
And then usually, I mean, me and Krog spend probably the most time together.
Okay.
So yeah,
Gotcha.
because we take all the same classes and he's the same major as me. So
Oh.
we'll do the whiteboard shenanigans together.
That's nice.
That's really cool. You have somebody to do that with. Okay. That makes sense. Wait, I can't believe we didn't even cover this when we were talking about your farming background and all the things you used to do in high school. And then you come to Matt and I's hometown, Solon,
Sure.
and do the hay bale toss.
Yeah.
Okay. So what years did you win? It was 2 years, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. 22. All right.
22, 23.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And you beat Logan. Is that
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
You let him know about it.
I did after I told him I'd buy him a Subway sandwich. Well, I kind of had an unfair advantage because I went to Casey's and I got a large black coffee before the toss.
Oh, you were
So-
ready.
Oh, so you were hyped.
So I had an unfair advantage, but you know, whatever.
PEDs.
Yeah. Casey's coffee.
Yeah. We got to get you some of that on Saturdays.
I love Casey's coffee.
Just forget it. Seriously, Casey's coffee.
Best coffee out there.
You trust that they clean those machines?
Sheesh.
No, but I figure it gets hot enough that whatever.
Oh, it'll kill whatever was coming.
Well,
out of
probably
there.
not. It doesn't boil, but yeah, whatever.
He's contemplating eating an Iowa City rabbit
Yeah.
that we just recently talked about him. I don't
Yeah.
think he's worried about the Casey's coffee machines.
Huh. But that's some of your favorite.
Best gas station ever.
Anyway, so you won beef days.
Yeah.
And then we were talking off air that you had a funny story after you won one of them.
Oh yeah. So after one of them, you know, like you take all the pictures and stuff and do like the media stuff, and someone had me take a picture with their baby. Like they held the baby up to my face.
Seriously?
It's pretty awesome.
Up to your face?
Yeah. I didn't hold the baby, but
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't have you hold it. They just
yeah, it was pretty,
showcased
it was
the
pretty
baby.
awesome.
That's even funnier. That's so weird.
It was I loved it.
Yeah.
That made me giggle a little bit.
Yeah. I bet so.
Golly.
Well, you know, Jennings, I feel like we have like just hit the tip of the iceberg with like stories. And there's like this subtle laugh that you're doing before things that I know there's so much more there. I just don't know how much can be shared.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we didn't hit on, like from high school, from like being a kid, like anything that you feel like would be fun to share, fun to chat about?
I don't know. I guess I hit the slip and slides.
The slip and slides,
And
yeah.
did a lot of sledding too. Sledding's pretty electric.
Yeah. Did you have like actual sleds, or were you the type to do like Christmas Vacation, like you seen Christmas Vacation?
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, they take trash can lids.
Oh.
Trash can lids, like that.
I mean, I had like a metal sled, but it always would get dented. I was too heavy for it.
A metal sled? That
Mhm.
sounds legit.
Like the metal saucer.
Oh, wow. That sounds fast though.
It was fast.
With the slip and slides, did you take like Dawn dish soap to go down?
Yeah. So actually, after the summer workouts, we rented a slip and slide for the O-line.
Oh my god.
Me and a couple guys did, so that was pretty awesome.
Rented a slip and slide.
Out of Aero Rentals, you can get them. It was only like $300. It was like 40 feet long. It was a 2-laner.
Sounds like a deal.
A
It was
2-laner,
awesome.
so you guys could like race and.
It was sweet.
I feel like that's like a injury hazard. Not at all.
You know, you'd think so, but nobody got hurt.
It was fine.
Even if they
Okay.
did, he's not going to admit that they got hurt on the podcast.
Obviously, I'm not saying tell us if someone got hurt. I'm just saying it seems a little bit scary.
No, that sounds great. So when you rent a slip and slide, you said Aero Rentals. So do you have to find a spot for it, or do they just blow it up in a certain? And you're like, hey, we want it here. They blow it up, and then that's it, or is
It's
it not a
blow up thing? You just lay it down. Right?
Oh, it's a blow up thing.
Oh, seriously?
See, so it was a good question. Okay, so then take me through.
How
the
did you guys
blow-up
not
slip and slide.
pop that?
I don't know.
Dude.
So like we went and picked up that Friday morning because we called that Thursday, and I brought my truck, and they just loaded it up with the forklift and put it in the bed of your truck. So when we drove out to Chap's house, he's got a giant yard and it's at like a decline. So it's even faster. So we just blew it up and put the stakes in and had the hose running.
You really rolled the dice on that one, I have to
It
say.
was awesome.
Who's the heaviest guy on the line?
Probably right now is Bo.
Okay.
Bo's probably a little bit heavier than me.
So like what?
320?
Probably 320 or so, yeah.
So you had almost probably like what? Combined 650 pounds?
Well, we were
Something
doing
like
some
that?
tandem sledding too.
Tandem sledding.
Like 2 to a lane.
Get out.
Oh, yeah.
Like lasted?
It got wild.
Wow. Aero Rentals really just
It was pretty awesome.
the quality
shout out
stuff.
Aero Rentals.
Yeah.
The best. It was insane quality.
That's great.
I couldn't believe it.
That's crazy. And you guys do, I guess Mason and Logan have kind of talked about the offensive line, like weekly dinners or get-togethers
Yeah.
that you guys do. Are you guys still doing that, like in season?
Yeah, we always have supper on Thursday night.
Okay.
So usually it's like 6:30 or something, 6 o'clock at somebody's house.
Who cooks?
Usually there's a grill there. So
Oh.
usually Krog will be grilling or something.
You just bring your own
Just
meat?
bring your meat, go to Hy-Vee and go get some meat or something, or you'll go to Chipotle and go get some food to eat there.
Do you guys do like sides, or is it more just like we're just doing carnivore diets?
It's usually
tonight?
just meat.
Yeah.
That
Totally makes sense to me.
Absolutely. I don't know if it was like BYOR, bring your own rabbit or something.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet. I wish they sold rabbit meat at Hy-Vee, but they don't.
Mm.
Maybe an opportunity for them.
Maybe an
A
NIL
missed
deal.
market is what it is.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. There's like the mom part of me is like, well, you should just have somebody bring some salads or some nice pasta
Not a lot of
side.
salads get eaten on Thursday night at O-line supper.
It's so good. All right. Well, Jennings, this has been wonderful.
This has been a ride.
It was so much.
right.
But we just really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we would love to have you back sometime too. We can find the time. If
Yeah.
you can find the time in your very busy schedule.
For sure.
We wish you the best of luck this season and studying for the MCAT.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
That's
good
pretty
luck, man.
amazing. Thanks,
Just get some
Jennings.
Casey's coffee. Yeah,
Yeah, that's all you need, actually.
I know.
Casey's coffee. We're really pushing hard for some NIL deals here.
Casey's coffee, that'd be sweet.
Can you imagine?
That'd be
Just
awesome.
get like one of those uncleaned things right at your house.
Although I will say, I feel like I got to be the one that says it. With a last name like Dunker, you're almost pigeonholed into Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh,
That'd be
yeah.
sweet too.
That's,
Do you like Dunkin' Donuts coffee?
I don't know if I've ever had it. I usually just drink Casey's coffee.
Yeah, that's the only place.
I just feel like Dunker.
they have donuts
would
at
be-
Casey's, and you could do.
Oh,
It's happening.
make it the Dunker
Yeah,
at Casey's.
yeah. You get do you like donuts?
I usually don't eat donuts.
Yeah,
You have to figure out what you rabbit.
just like a.
Just rabbit. And
No,
you
I
dunk it
can
in the
see you'd be like
coffee.
just a classic glazed donut and some black coffee.
That's the Dunker.
Dunk it in. Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
And it'd be like, oh, $1.29 for the Dunker at Casey's.
As long as there's black coffee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No creamer allowed if you get it.
No, yeah.
You're counting out a large percent of the population, but I could still see it. Okay. Jennings, seriously, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. And again, just wish you the best of luck this season.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah.
Locally owned and operated, Performance is a full-service restoration company serving Eastern Iowa.
As an IICRC certified firm, their multi-licensed technicians have decades of experience in water, mold, and fire mitigation. Whether it's your home or business, this is the team you want in a time of need. Performance Restoration, 319-626-2292.
Hey, Hawk fans, looking for the perfect spot to fuel up before or celebrate after a Hawkeye win? Look no further than Marquee Pizzeria, located in the vibrant Iowa River Landing.
Their wood-fired pizzas have truly changed the pizza game.
Whether you're cheering on the Hawkeyes or just searching for a delicious meal, Marquee Pizzeria is the place to be. Swing by and experience the best pizza in Iowa. Go Hawks.
When it comes to keeping our home comfortable, we trust only the best. Loudon Plumbing and Heating. Whether it's fixing a leaky sink, keeping the house cool, or making sure the furnace runs smoothly in winter, Loudon Plumbing and Heating is our go-to. For reliable service, trust the corridor's best. Loudon Plumbing and Heating.
Looking to make a splash online in Eastern Iowa? Digital Boost is your local go-to digital marketing agency. They help local businesses connect with their ideal customers online.
Digital Boost has a diverse client base, ranging from small businesses to industry leaders, including well-known brands like DNR Pest Control and Advanced Millwork.
Visit their website at www.digitalboostia.com to learn more or contact them for a free in-person consultation. So, Matt, we have got...
Hold on, can we just talk about how incredible Jennings Dunker is? I think range is the word. I think I said it in the interview, but like... that I've
so much
I
to
don't even
cover.
have words.
It was just so much to cover and so many things that he would say that I was like, oh,
That's
hold
not
on,
real.
what? And then he just said everything so nonchalantly. Like it was not a big deal that he wasn't even going to really go to college and then just decided to try it out. And now all of a sudden he's on a pre-med track. Like
Yeah.
that to him is like, yeah, what's so exciting about that? It's
Yes.
like, well, it's just not normal.
Wild.
Totally not like a typical story that you would hear. Amazing.
No. Wild.
But it was like almost like he was like blaming us for being so like baffled by the things he was saying. And I was like, Jennings, I don't mean to like make this weird, but like this is crazy.
It's very cool.
It was amazing and super thankful that he came in. And that Mason helped us get that interview.
Shout out Mason Richmond.
Yeah, thanks, Mason. So we've got we have two new things coming this week. Okay. New opponent, Washignton. And 2, new to the podcast, a brand new sponsor that I'm very excited about because it's one of my favorite restaurants to go to in Solon. The Iowa City one is great too. Big Grove Brewery. Are you kidding me?
It's big time.
Are you kidding me? So excited. So yeah, our preview this week is brought to you by Big Grove Brewery. And Matt, did you know they're the official craft brewery of the Iowa Hawkeyes? Yeah, Easy Eddie. You can get that at Kinnick Stadium now. It's not just all about Busch Light anymore. Just saying. Isn't that so exciting?
You didn't have to go like that.
Either way, we're super pumped that
I'm very excited.
They are one of our sponsors. We love all our sponsors equally, but it's just really cool to be able to
Add
have
a new
that.
one to the team.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get into the preview. So as I said, this is a new opponent. Therefore, I have never covered their
The
mascot.
Washignton Huskies.
Totally. Actually, my grandma used to say Wash.
I knew there was somebody in the family that did.
Yeah. My mom will let it slip sometimes. Never let it be me. Okay, so going back all the way to prior to 1920. So I got all of this off of the official Washignton Athletics website. So I just want to say, like, if something's wrong, it's on them. It's not on me. Or maybe it's just my summary is wrong. Just totally possible. So prior to 1920, they went between like 2 different nicknames, the Indians and the Vikings. But
Wait, both?
yeah, like at some point.
Oh.
It just said prior to 1920s, but like none of the fans were really like on board with either of those names. And so they just mostly called them the purple and gold, which I found that kind of interesting. Like, oh, you going to the purple and gold game this weekend? It's just so long. Anyway,
Give me
then,
a P. Give me a
can
U.
you imagine? They'd be there for the entire first quarter. Like, whew, we made it. All right. Then in 1920, they voted to be, this is a good one, the Sun Dodgers. So their mascot was the Sun Dodger. So it was like a guy whose name was Sunny holding an umbrella because
He's dodging
it's
the
not
sun.
very sunny in Washington.
Because it's mostly
so.
rainy, right?
Yeah. And so then in 1922, they were like, we need to find a new mascot. The fans weren't like super on board. And they felt that it was portraying like untrue climactic conditions.
Wait, climate change?
Yeah. Just saying like, it's not that it's always rainy here. Like I think like their tourists, people were like, guys, we're turning people away, thinking like, we're always trying to dodge
They're
the
losing
sun.
business because of the Sun Dodgers.
Totally.
Wild.
I kind of like the name though, the Sun Dodgers. Like that's funny.
It does sound cool.
I think it's really cool. I don't know what your mascot would be, but I digress. So a committee was formed, which I think is so funny that they formed committees like at a lot of these schools to be like, you guys have to tackle this issue. Like some places, like for us, it was like, oh, somebody draw a tiger hawk.
You guys
let me know.
figure it out.
Somebody draw a tiger hawk. Let us know how it turns out. Hayden Fried's like, that one, call it a day. Anyways, they formed this committee and they were like, let's be the Huskies. Like, sure, that works. And here's the reasoning. The first reasoning was because it's an easy cartoon to draw. It's a fitting name for an athletic team. And it's short and easy to use in newspaper headlines. I was like, I don't know, like that's your reasoning, but okay. And then it said Seattle was also recognized as the gateway to the Alaskan frontier.
Ah, there it is.
So that one makes a lot more sense. But when I read that, I was like, short and easy to use in newspaper headlines. Got it. Which it is. Makes sense. It's a lot shorter than Sun Dodgers. So actually, I really still like that one though. All right. So, kind of interesting. They have a live mascot still today, which you don't find too many places. And typically if you do, it's going to be a dog. Like they're just easy to maintain, all of the things. The sad thing about dogs is they don't have a very long lifespan.
Right.
So there's a lot of them that would come into play from 1922 until today.
So in 1922, it was official that they were the Huskies.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes. So then, let's see. Well, I guess they didn't start having the real mascot in 1922.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You're getting all up in my summary here and like asking for more information. I only have so much. So they use a Husky breed. They use a Husky breed for their live mascot. And it's actually called the Alaskan, I'm going to say this wrong, Malamute. So M-A-L-A mute, right? Malamute is how you'd say it.
Sure.
Because it's the largest.
Oh, we're getting a thumbs up from our producer.
Thank you. It is the largest and strongest of all Husky breeds. And it's really cool looking. Like a really cool looking Husky. So it started off with Frosty 1 and 2. So there's Frosty 1 and then Frosty 2. And then there was Wasky 1 and Wasky 2 or Wasky. I don't really know which one. W-A-S-K-Y. I think Wasky maybe. That sounds better.
Washignton Husky, Wasky.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Wasky. Totally made myself look stupid there. Good job, Matt. 1957, Denali.
No, high class
okay.
now.
Denali was given to the school by, quote unquote, the student body. Like they're just going to accept like, oh, sure. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for this new dog. And he didn't even look like a Husky. He looked more like an overgrown terrier. And they showed a picture of him. And I was like, that is not a Husky. Who was like, yeah, we'll take that. It was like a different
Where was the committee?
breed of dog. Totally. It had been resolved by then. Then they had King Chinook. And so here's the sad thing. When they were listing all of these different dogs that they've had in the past, some of them, they would list how they died, which is just awful. But most of them, they didn't list it. And the ones that they did list how they passed away was like horrible. Like one of them died of like heat.
Stop.
And one of them like a heat stroke or something.
Not at a game.
I don't think so. It didn't say that. But this one, King Chinook, so he was kind of like a wild one. Okay. Like super nice. And he actually needed like multiple handlers. He needed like a team of handlers because he was just so social.
Another committee.
Another one. And so they had to like have a team of people to keep him on the sidelines because he was just so. And so anyway, one time he escaped from the sidelines, went onto the field and was like jumping on the players in the huddle and like giving them kisses and stuff, and which I think is so cute. And then they end this paragraph by saying King Chinook was hit by a truck. Can you not? You don't have to share that information. Just say like he retired at some point. So then next they had Regent Denali. After that, they had Sun Dodger Denali. Cool. Why aren't we just calling him Sun Dodger? Whatever, Sun Dodger the Husky. I'm fine with that. And then King Redoubt, and he led the team out of the tunnel. That was the first dog that ever led them out, which they still do today. But let me put like an asterisk by that. Then they had Prince Redoubt, and then they had Spirit. Then Dubs 1 And once they got that new Husky, they had like the students vote on what his name should be. And there was a bunch of different ones. They picked Dubs, which is so cute. Why haven't we thought of that for a dog? And then Dubs 2, which is the current Husky. And I really hope they bring him to Kinnick, but they usually don't let him travel. They usually just keep him for home games.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. But that is the current one. And when they had Dubs 1 retire, so he did not pass away. Like, that's not why they had Dubs 2. When they had him retire, they had a full ceremony. And this about made me tear up. They had the athletics director come up and take the collar off of Dubs 1 and then put it on Dubs 2. And that was like him passing the torch. Yeah, I was like, well, that is, I don't know what's worse. It ending with, and he got hit by a truck, or that. So the thing about Dubs 2, though, he's wild. And they don't let him run out in front of the team anymore because he's so fast that none of the handlers can run with him. And when his handler pulled their hamstring running out. And I'm picturing like this dog is just like so fast running, and he's like full, like, oh yeah, it's my time to shine. I'm waiting for this. And he goes, and the handler like pulls his hamstring, and he's just hopping along with this like super fast dog. Like, what happened? How did they recover from that?
You don't.
No, you really don't. It's so mean, but like, I just wish I could see it. And then they also have Harry the Husky, which is like the person mascot. They like walks on 2 legs. He was founded in 1995. Hasn't been around that long. Came up by the band director, and they were like, yeah, we should have like a person mascot. And he started as Husky Dog, DAWG. That was his name. And actually, when they did tryouts for Harry Husky, who was Husky Dog at the time, they didn't have the mascot costume, so they had to use the Seahawks costume to let all these people try out. Interesting, huh? Back in 1995.
But they had the mascot for games. Yeah. They just had to try out in the
Seahawks one.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Which, as a mascot, that'd be pretty cool. Put the Seahawks one on. Then in 1997, he became Harry Husky. And in 2010, they got him a new costume, which we see today. Also, did you know this? This is my last thing. That bubblegum, vinyl, synthetic rubber, and color TV were all invented at Washington. So there you go.
From people that went to Washington or at the university?
I'm going to play it safe and go people that went to Washington. So thanks for asking more in-depth questions that I don't have the answer to.
Yeah.
But either way, there you go.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that was kind of long-winded. But now I would like you to tell us our preview brought to you by Big Grove Brewery. And if you're not going to the game at Kinnick on Saturday, Big Grove Brewery is the official watch headquarters of the Iowa Hawkeyes as well. It's a fantastic place to watch the games, whether they're at home and you don't have a ticket or they're away. They have an Iowa City, Solon, Cedar Rapids, and Des Moines location. So make sure you pop in, have some craft brew. Is that what you say? Craft brew?
Stop.
And then and have like delicious food and watch the Hawks. All right, give me the rundown in Washington. I know nothing.
The rundown?
Yeah.
Do you have an example of a rundown?
Purple and gold.
Joke.
Yeah.
Well, they're coming off a big win. It was actually a rematch from a year ago.
Okay.
Because remember, Michigan and Washington played in the National Championship. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so Washington got their revenge, but this is a very different team than what that one was.
That's what I was going to ask.
So Michael Penix Jr. was first round draft pick. He was their quarterback. He's gone. Roma Dunze was first round draft pick, wide receiver. He's gone. Head coach was Kalen DeBoer. He's now the head coach at Alabama, so he's gone. So it's a very different team from that aspect, but they're pretty efficient. I mean, they're 4-2 now after the win over Michigan. And I kind of see Michigan as similar to us in kind of offensive schemes. They like to be a pro style. They'll put a fullback in the game. They've got some different stuff that they do with Orji, who didn't play the second half of that game.
Okay.
But they do some different stuff with him just because he's athletic. But really, I try to look more at what they did in that one. And defensively, they played a lot of man-to-man. A lot of press, a lot of man-to-man. So everything we saw last week from a receiver position, get ready to see it again because it's going to be a lot of that. Now, I don't think these guys are as physical as Ohio State was. I think there's kind of I don't want to say I think there's kind of like a moxie that comes with being Ohio State DB, that they can be a little more physical and stuff like that. Like they kind of feel that way. I don't know if Washington is quite there, but they are going to be physical. They're going to press, stuff like that.
That is so interesting. It's kind of like with basketball. Like they just like how people, like how on the defensive side of the ball, like some teams just come in and like to establish that early. Like, no, we're going to be physical and this is how this is going to look. So you can't call a foul like all of the time because it's just how we're going to play. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's exactly what Ohio State did.
Yeah.
/ does.
Yeah. And so I could see Washington doing something similar. So we're going to have to find a way to beat man-to-man. A couple different ways to do that. Because really our best offensive stuff right now has been what we would refer to as quick game. So quick game is basically Cade hits his third step, boom, ball's out. So that's like a hitch, that's a quick out, stuff like that. And we've been able to do that relatively well. And we're doing a lot of pre-snap motion stuff. Jacob Gill he got his steps in. He was going side to side, doing all kinds of stuff, right? And I don't know how deep we are. I know we're deeper at tight end than we are at receiver, but I think we're going to have to split our tight ends out a little bit more. And in that, you create bunches and stacks. And I talk about this all the time, or at least I have prior, of like getting guys in a group. Because what happens is if you've got 3 guys in a group, and what I mean by bunch is, let's say Luke Lachey is on the line because he's going to be the most physical. Luke Lachey on the line, and then you can put Gill and Reese Vanderzee behind him, so they've got a little bit of room. And the reason that's important is because you want them off the ball, so that way that press coverage doesn't get right into them right away. Like that's one thing that we didn't do as much against Ohio State, is if we give Reese Vanderzee a little bit of room and he's off the ball, maybe he's got an easier job just because there's more separation between him and the DB before he can really get his hands on. Whereas if you're outside and you're on the ball snap, boom, they're touching you. But if there's a little bit of room, you can kind of set them up, get them to move, stuff like that. So I think even just flip-flopping, you split them out there and put Luke Lachey on and take your receiver off the ball might be able to help a little bit with that press man. But also like quick game stuff, I'm surprised we haven't seen more bubbles. We've seen a lot of outs and stuff like that. We've seen Caleb Johnson catch a few out of the backfield. You can do some kind of crossers, but really even if you just get into that bunch stack, you can have them and stack really is what I refer to with 2 receivers. Bunch would be 3. Point guy and 1 back on either side, about 1.5 yards by 1.5 yards off. So they're all near each other, but then you can have them release all these different ways. So if they're going to play true man-to-man coverage, you're going to have to run with him while he goes this way, and then he comes underneath, and then the third guy goes. Like there's a lot of different things you can do with that, that you can still do quick game type concepts. You can still run simple stick concept, which would be an out by number 1 and then 2 outs by 2 and 3. But you can do that different ways based on how you're aligning. Maybe you have the middle guy who is normally number 2, he goes vertical, and then number 3 goes vertical, and then 1 runs a quick out because they both clear, and now he's there. You kind of change the way that defenses can play you. And most of the time, it forces them to go into some sort of zone because they don't want to run into each other. If you have 2 receivers that do what I would call a switch release, those DBs can run into each other, and then somebody comes open free because he fell down or got knocked off his route or whatever. So you kind of force them to play zone, and then they have to say, all right, I'm going to take up whoever's there. You can call it a combo. You can call it in and out. You can call it whatever kind of coverage you want. And we're just like, all right, I take anybody out. Well, what happens if they both go out when somebody said, I'm going to take out and I'm going to take in, and they both go out? Well, now somebody has to be open, or they both go in, then somebody has to be open. So there's different ways to kind of beat man-to-man coverage and stay within our quick game. And I think we're going to have to utilize that more. We still need a deep passing game, don't get me wrong, but I think our main stuff right now has been quick game. We want to keep Cade upright. I think we need to get rid of the ball quickly to kind of get him in rhythm, at least early, and then hopefully build off some of those concepts later on. They didn't blitz a ton versus Michigan, but they did enough to make the QB uncomfortable. So there's a few things there. And then offensively, they've got 2 quarterbacks that they play pretty consistently. First quarterback, against Michigan, he threw on rhythm. And what I mean by on rhythm is that he did his 1, 2, 3. So if he's in the shotgun, he takes his first step back with his right, crosses over with his left, takes his step with his right, and what we call a hitch, which is kind of like a shuffle forward. 1, 2, 3, hitch, ball's out. There's no chance D-line's getting to him. There's no chance a blitz is getting to him. 1, 2, 3, hitch out. 1, 2, 3, hitch out. 1, 2, 3, hitch out. Like it was really nice timing. Yeah, and then I started to add the beat into it.
I know.
Yeah.
Those are the songs I'm talking about that people are making up.
Right. But so like we're going to have to try and find a way to get him off rhythm, because when he's in rhythm like that, it's really hard to stop. And their schemes aren't super complex. Don't get me wrong. They've got complex stuff, but I mean, they were gouging Michigan for 12 yards on a quick slant on the outside, just a double slant. First guy takes the first, let's say it'd be number 2 in this case, it'd be the slot receiver. He runs a slant. He takes the linebacker out. Safety's too far deep to make a play, and the corner's playing off number 1. So he takes 3 hard steps, runs a slant. He's in between the DB and the ball, catches it, gets tackled for 10 yards. 2 slants is not a very complex concept, but it was thrown on time with good receivers, good quarterback, boom, easy 10 yards. So we're going to have to take away that simple stuff. Now they did run a double move first play of the game, quick out and up. First play of the game, they get about 35 chunk yards. So we have to be ready for that kind of stuff based off the simple schemes. And they actually came back. They missed it, but they ran slant, and then they ran a sluggo, as we call it, which is like a slant and go. So he came off, boom, 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 give a quick move inside. He had him, quarterback just overthrew him. So they've got that kind of stuff. We just have to keep everything in front of us. We just can't get lulled to sleep, similar to Troy, where they hit the double move on the outside. You go to the other quarterback, he's more of a running guy. They put him in there, they run the zone read, where I'm going to look at the backside end. So if I've got the running back to my left, he's going to snap out of shotgun. He's going to snap it and look directly at that end. And I'm going to hold the ball out to the running back, who's going to what they call a cross ride, because he's going to go across to the right side of the formation, in this case, with my running back to the left. I'm going to hold the ball out there. If that defensive end flies down the line of scrimmage like he's getting ready to tackle the running back, the quarterback is going to pull the ball, and now I'm the runner. If the defensive end stands there like he's waiting for the quarterback to run the ball, then he gives it to the running back, and the running back takes it to the right. So it's more of a zone read based off what the end does. So I'm going to decide what I'm doing based off what you do. It's kind of like an RPO, except it's just a run option. It's either the quarterback runs or the running back runs. So they do a lot more with him. He did throw a couple passes to keep his confidence up, make sure that you can throw the defense off just enough so they can't just key in on zone read and stuff. So he's capable of both, but that's primarily what he's in there for. Again, they were able to move the ball really well. One thing against Michigan, they got up quick, 14-0, but then Michigan came right back. It was 10-14 before half. So they're willing to, or they can get up, but they can also fall behind. It's kind of one of those things. So defensively, we got to keep things in front of us, make the open field tackles, try to get the quarterback off rhythm. It's really, really hard when it's quick game, but I think that's going to have to be where we make our move. And then offensively, I think we're going to have to utilize some bunches and stacks to get our quick game going. We know Caleb Johnson. We know he's good. He still ended up with 86 yards and a touchdown. I know that was mainly off of 2 big runs, but obviously we need to continue to feed him. But I think to help Cade out or Brendan Sullivan packages, because I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit more of him with the kind of that zone read, similar to what Washington's doing. But to utilize that and kind of see what we can do with that out of quick game to set up the deep pass game so we can use the play action and the boot and everything else that we've got in our offense. It's how do we bring it all together to make it so that it's the same umbrella of what we do. We're not getting too cute, right? We're doing what we do. It's just how do we make it look different?
You had caffeine before we came here. Can totally tell. You were on it. Good job.
Yeah, I did have caffeine.
I will say one of the most frustrating things to watch as a fan is quick doink doink passes down the field, which you just kind of said that they do, where they'll get like 10 here, 5 here, 8 here, and also a quarterback that can run. So frustrating to watch if you're on the defensive side of the ball. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because it's just, it's just frustrating. Like, oh man, there they go again. There's another 5. There's another 7. There's no, So that'll be interesting. Hopefully, yeah, they've got something.
They also won with numbers in the box, similar to what Ohio State did to us. They did to Michigan on a few different things, to where, and it's really tough, right? Because it's like, okay, you're expecting Sebastian Castro to play the pass, but then when he's out there playing the pass, they're going to run the ball because now they've got numbers in the box, as we say. And the box, if I haven't described it already, is like tackle to tackle.
Yeah.
Running back to linebacker depth. That's kind of your box that you're working with. So if Castro's going to go play in the pass game because we need more numbers over there, they'll run it off because we don't have enough numbers in the box. Okay, well then we bring him in and now they're going to swing it out there because now it's 2-on-2. So we have to be really cognizant, and it really comes down to like what Castro or Kyler Fisher, if he's in that position, come down to what they do to kind of keep Washington honest.
Okay.
from that side of things.
All right. Anything else?
I feel like I've already talked too much.
You're killing it. You're doing so good. You did. Great preview brought to you by
Thanks.
Big Grove Brewery.
BGB.
And also, if you don't have tickets for the upcoming game or any of the other home games that are coming this season, how many more do we have left? 4? Is that it?
I'm week to week. I'm not focused on the rest of the season. I'm focused on this week.
Well, anyway, if you don't have tickets for any of the upcoming games, you can go to Big Grove Brewery /Hawkeyes, and they do giveaways for Iowa football tickets consistently. So
Cool.
go check that out. Yeah. All right.
We're not going to enter.
We are not?
I'm not.
No.
2 kids.
Okay. Smart.
Dax and Blair.
Totally. Yeah.
Blair
don't.
Blair didn't even make it through the punting warm-ups at Kids Day. She's not making it a full game.
It was nap time. Okay.
What I'm saying is there's a lot more opportunities for you guys to win.
True. It's going to be 77 degrees on Saturday. What's
Isn't that
happening?
October in Iowa?
I'm going to be honest. I'm pretty irritated by that.
I'm pretty sure that's going to be the last nice day.
I know I
It's gonna
should
turn to
just
fall.
take it in, but oh my gosh, 77 degrees,
Mhm.
11 o'clock game. So that means I'm going to get there.
Fox Big Nooner.
if
Fox Big Noon kickoff.
if nobody knows that from last season, they're just going to wonder why you said that.
I know.
That's what we've always called it since it started. It's a good show. It really is a good show. Also on Friday, if you guys haven't heard the news yet, we're doing Hawkeye Hoops from downtown. And so we're going to have the women's wrestling team, women's basketball team, and men's basketball team. I believe last year or 2 years ago that we did it on Iowa Avenue right in front of the old Capitol building. It's actually really cool. They put like a full court out there, and the fans got to come and watch, interview the players. They played like different games, like, I don't know. Anyway, super fun. So come join us. I believe it starts at 5 o'clock. I think it goes 5 to 6 Friday night, this coming Friday. And then obviously the game on Saturday. So what's going to happen is I'm going to show up on Saturday morning at like 8 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be so cold. And then it's going to get super hot by the time the game starts. So then I have to plan accordingly. What am I going to wear? I don't know. I have no idea. No clue. So can you get on that? Start thinking about what would be appropriate.
I'll start thinking about your outfit right after this episode.
Thank you so much. If you could start now, that would make it a lot easier on me.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We would pick the same things.
Don't.
Hoodie that you just tie around your waist later.
It's not even that funny, but like, to imagine me actually wearing that is like making me mad. That's
Yeah.
so funny. All right. Well, we will see you guys back here next Monday morning.
This is going on both channels.
Both channels. If you have not subscribed to the Talkin Hawks official YouTube channel, you need to do that because that's where the full interviews are going. So we'll do like part of the interview and then the preview and the recap over on the Estella's Talk About Network channel. But then like the full interview, which you don't want to miss the full interview with Jennings, especially, is going to be over on the Talkin Hawks channel. So make sure you subscribe to that. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, X, TikTok, Instagram. Is that everything?
You know what? I'm going to make an executive decision right now
What is it?
that if they like this video
Mm-hmm.
on the Talkin Hawks channel on YouTube and they leave a comment, just anything about the show, I think they get entered in a giveaway, win a Talkin Hawks box with some merch. What do you think?
I like that idea.
I think I'm going to do that right now.
I just am so curious how many people made it this far into the
That's my
banter at
point.
the end
Like,
of
these
the
are real
episode.
fans.
No,
These are real fans that are here for the giveaway.
So the 10 of you that have made it, you've got a really good chance to win a great Talkin Hawks giveaway. So make sure you're subscribed to the Talkin Hawks YouTube channel.
Subscribe.
Like the video, this specific episode, and then leave a comment. Any comment. Doesn't matter what it is. Unless it's mean, then I'm definitely
If it's
not.
mean, you're not winning.
Either way. All right. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to go now. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.